TV 16. Last weekend, the Berwick Bulldogs took aim at the Dunmore Bucks and bagged the Super 16 championship live on WNEB. Now, the Dogs are gunning for the undefeated Manheim Central Barons as the quest for back-to-back state titles continues. Unbeaten in 2 years, George Curry and the Bulldogs are hungry for win number 29 in a row. The Berwick Bulldogs and the Manheim Central Barons collide on the road to the state championship.
Hello, everybody, from Goodman Stadium on the campus of Lehigh University in Bethlehem. It's the Class 3A state semifinal. Today, Manheim Central and Berwick. I'm Paul Olis, along with Tim Carlson, Joe Zone, and Melissa Sander. We're all set to bring you all the action. Well, today we're going to see two different types of football played here. Tim, what about Manheim Central?
Well, Manheim Central, the District 3 AAA champions, rely on quickness, and they run out of the triple option. That's where the quarterback can run the ball or dish it off, or he can also throw it to somebody. And, of course, they have the big running back, Darrell Neville, 1,400 yards. They're looking for speed, and they're going to need it because they're much smaller than the Berwick football team.
Joe Zone, we've seen Berwick. Do you contemplate any type of change by Mr. Curry for this game?
Not at all. I think Berwick will do exactly what works for them. They come in here, they're going to push this team around with their size. The one thing, Berwick hasn't seen an option run like this in a couple of years, but if we know Curry, his kids will be ready. The key is they are much bigger than the kids from Neville. Don't forget, Berwick hasn't given up a touchdown in 3 football games.
Well, one of these teams one step away from a state championship. We'll be back with a kickoff in a moment.
Today's semifinal state championship game is brought to you by Wise Foods, makers of Wise potato chips and other fine snacks. Time Markets, we've got the time for you. Alaska Stoves, 1-800-HOT-BTUs. And by the First National Bank of Berwick. We'll never get too big for you.
We make the best Stoker stoves today. A 4-day burn leaves you with more leisure time. You never shake a grate. There's no dust to clean up. It's totally automatic. There's no overheating or chimney fires. Does your old stove do this for you? It's time you got an Alaska Stoker stove. See one burning today. Call 1-800-HOT-BTUs for your nearest Alaska stove dealer. That's 1-800-HOT-BTUs.
We started out as a little old bank, but as your needs got bigger, so did we. And we're still growing. And we want you to know that today, we can serve every single financial need that you and your family have. But we also want you to know this. We'll never get so big that you can't get close to us.
The First National Bank of Berwick, a community bank where customer service is the top priority for all your financial services.
We're back, and there's the weather conditions here at Bethlehem on the campus of Lehigh University Goodman Stadium. 30 degrees, temperature at game time, wind southeast at 12. A little bit cloudy, but just now a little bit of sunshine trying to peek through. Well, let's take a look at the receivers in the ball game. There they are. That is Eisenhower, number 45, and Neville, number 3, and John Bowman is ready to kick it off. There is John, number 74 for Berwick. We're underway with a state semifinal. It's a high kick, and it's fielded by one of the upbacks at the 17-yard line, to the 20, to the 25, the 30, and down at the 33-yard line. Eric Johns.
Now, right away, Berwick won the toss, elected to give the option to Manheim Central. Manheim Central will receive, which means Berwick obviously wants to play defense first as you look at Manheim Central, Tim.
All right, quarterback is Chad Kinder. Darrell Neville, the big back in the backfield who can really go with the option. Eric Johns, Dean Heistad, Scott, Neil Fittery, Tim Oberline, Mike Martin, Matt Cruz, and Mike Kastanovich up there on the front line.
Ginder fakes into the line, throws the pass on first down, and it is, let's see if it's a reception. Oh, yes, it is. Scott Ocker, the split end. Sprinted down the left side. There were double coverage on him, but he snuck in between the defenders to pick off the pass. And the Barons guys coming off with a bang.
And if you remember last week, this is what Dunmore tried to do almost right off the bat, tried to burn Berwick deep and was not able to do it. But this time it works, and boy, what a great pass in between double coverage there, Joe.
Great pass, and that's why that play worked. It was right there.
The offense running out of the split veer. They'll use the option play. This one is into the line, a couple of yards inside the 35 to about the 33-yard line.
Now that's the bread and butter for Manheim Central. They work the option. The quarterback will fake a dive, a run into the line, then sometimes keep, and then if the end collapses, he keeps and goes around. Otherwise, he pitches off to the big back. As you look at Berwick's defensive line, and they're big. Woodishek, Slusser, Carden, Rob Sock, and Anderson, all over 220 pounds. Koch, Haycock, Bauer, Force, Couchner, and Wharton.
2nd and 5 from the 33-yard line. The Barons on the prowl here early in the ball game. Ginder fakes into the line. There's the pitch to Neville. Neville scampers around the left side to the 15-yard line, and apparently another first down.
Boy, did he get outside quickly, Joe. And, you know, there's a young man who gained almost 1,500 yards this year in the workhorse, 185 carries and 29 touchdowns, and he really accelerates quickly.
Well, the speed will certainly test Berwick's big size today, and they utilize the speed the best way they can, and that is with the option. They really make the Berwick defenders operate quickly and commit on the play.
1st and 10 on the 26-yard line. The Barons moving against the tough Bulldog of Berwick. Both teams undefeated. They split a wide receiver to the right side. The running backs are set. The quarterback gives to Neville. Neville spins and turns, but is nailed right at the line of scrimmage.
Looked like Neville checked, or rather Ginder checked off on that at the line of scrimmage, but if he did, it certainly didn't work.
Well, they won't run that too much. Now watch, this is just a straight handoff. This is the last thing they do. See, that'll keep you honest right there for the play later on when he pitches and goes around. But very little of today will you see them just diving straight into the line.
Now we have a full house backfield in motion to the left side, and the setback's in the eye now. John, the fullback. Neville, the tailback, in motion to the right side. Ginder back to pass, and the blitz was on, and down goes Ginder.
Ginder had nowhere to go on that one. He was just swarmed, and I guess it was one of those things where the Berwick defense smelled that play coming and was able to bottle him right up.
Well, they line up a little differently here now. We can't see it here, but Neville will come out of the backfield here in pass formation. That may have tipped the formation to the Berwick defense, and they were right on it. But later in the game, you will see him try to go to Neville, the running back, out of the backfield.
All right, 3rd and long, 16 yards from the 32-yard line. In the I formation, Ginder rolling to the right side. He looks to pass, throws downfield, and it's complete at the 18-yard line.
It's going to be short, though. He didn't get out far enough for the first down. It'll bring up a 4th down.
Duffy Dietz.
On the reception, he's had 197 yards of receptions this year with a couple of touchdowns. And watch Ginder roll out now, and they get Dietz in that middle area, and he does another nice job of throwing the ball between two defenders for the completion, but not enough for a first down.
So they'll go on 4th down.
They need a couple, or are they going to try a field goal? Scott Ocker, let's see if it's a fake or whether he'll kick from the 25. It'll be a 35-yard attempt. He's kicked one from 32. The kick is up. It is high. It is no good. Off to the right side. A 35-yard attempt by field goal kicker Scott Ocker. No good, and the Dogs take over.
Well, right away, Manheim Central came out. First play, they don't try the option. They come out and throw. Immediately, they loosen it up. This was their best shot right here, coming down to get the score with the field goal.
And Ocker knew he missed it right away. Look at this. Disappointed.
You don't see a lot of 35-yard field goals in high school football.
So now the Dogs get a first chance to play, and Kowalski, the man who rushed for 106 yards against Dunmore last week, gets the first carry and hooks it up to the 25-yard line.
I would really think that Dunmore is probably doing a good job down at South Williamsport right now, but that Berwick, with their big offensive line, as you can look at the backs and the receivers, that these backs and receivers ought to be able to get open and get into holes today, because Berwick just outmans this team by 20, 30 pounds on the line.
There you see the names of the big guys up front for Berwick. They're going to have to do the job and try to control this ball game.
Now on the 2nd and 5 from the 25, Kowalski again. He rolls off a tackle but falls in his own backfield for a loss.
And that was number 21 for Manheim Central. Wrong team. I was going to say Joe Kowalski, but that of course is number 21, tackling number 21, Bob Creighton, making the tackle for Manheim Central and getting into the backfield quickly. There you see the Manheim Central defensive line: Mike Martin, Andy Weatherby, Neil Fittery, Matt Cruz. Neil Fittery, the guy who really anchors it out there. The linebackers: Creighton, Dietz, Oberlin, and Griffith. And Berwick now in a situation that we really haven't seen the Bulldogs in that many times this year, Joe. I know you haven't. On 3rd and long. They, of course, have a tendency of trying to bust it up the middle, but on 3rd and long, of course, Kelchner has the talent to throw the ball.
In that first series, guys, Ginder looked very good in those 2 tosses right on target. Even though the receivers were off balance, they still held on to the ball. All right, it is 3rd and 8 now. Ball at the 22-yard line. No score in the ball game. 6:50 in the first period. Overload on the right side. Here is Kelchner. Kelchner gives to Kowalski. Kowalski tries to sneak between Carden and Bowman, the tackle and guard on the right side, and struggled for a couple.
Well, they tried to fool him here a little bit. It looked like Kelchner was going to take it out on a wide right pitch out, maybe with a short throw. Instead, he hands it off back over the middle, and Manheim Central was waiting for it.
Yeah, they didn't buy that at all, that overload to the one side.
All right, it'll be Kelchner to kick. Back deep for the Barons is Heistand and Bunta waiting to receive. Here is Kelchner. Snap is perfect. Kick is up, and it's an end-over-end kick. This is Bunta at the rather Heistand. Hands it off to Bunta. Bunta to the 45, and a yellow flag down. Could be a clip penalty right around the 40-yard line.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a clip on number 85 for Manheim Central, Mike Owens. And looks like he clipped, on that play, he clipped Troy Kachurka, as a matter of fact, of Berwick. So it looks like it's going to be a...
All right, we have a clip on the run back.
Jim Stevenson, the referee, letting us know what's going on in this ball game. In case you just joined us, no score, 6:03 to play in the first quarter. And we'll be back with more of this State Eastern Final, Manheim Central and Berwick.
It's TV time. Time to head for Time Markets for a video and munchies like Pardo's Perky Peanuts and Cashews, fresh donuts, deli items, oven roasted chicken, Time Markets milk and bread, and fresh Maxwell House coffee, all from Time Markets.
Wise Foods, Berwick proud.
Hi, I'm Coach Curry. I can't begin to tell you how proud I am of this football team. This football team represents the spirit of the Berwick community. And I'm sure with your continued support, our kids will always be winners.
Wise Foods, makers of Wise potato chips and other fine snacks.
.6:02 remaining in the first period. There's no score here at Lehigh University, Manheim Central and Berwick. And the Barons get a crack at the offense now for the second time with a 1st and 10 at the 25 after a 15-yard clipping penalty. Ginder hands off to Eric Johns, the fullback who rushed for 6 touchdowns this year, is nailed right at the line of scrimmage.
That play will not work very much. Again, the idea is to keep that defense honest, show it to them. They'll do it a couple of times, but usually they'll fake that play today, and then the quarterback and the halfback Neville will start going out to the left or the right, either holding or pitching around the ends. They're not going to get anything, I don't believe, up the middle on this big Berwick defense.
2nd and 10, Duffy Dietz, number 14, and Scott Ocker on the left side. Ginder fakes, drops the ball, but it's held by Johns, and he is out to about the 26, and that's all. So the offense having a little tough time sticking to the ground game here in the second.
Interesting, I think, is Coach Curry looks on and calls out the defensive signals. The first series, they come out and they're wide open. Now in the second series, they seem to be a little bit more conservative, and it hasn't worked on these first 2 plays of this second drive in the first quarter.
There it is, 3rd and 10. Let's see if Ginder cranks up his arm on this one at the 25-yard line. Ginder on the option, pitches to Neville. Neville tries to bowl over a blocker. He does, and he gets out to the 35, 36-yard line, close for a first down.
I think he's going to be about a ball length short if they mark it where his knee was down.
But a great play there by Marty Force. Watch him, number 31. He's the key guy on the outside for Berwick. Even though he doesn't make the initial tackle, watch him slow him down just enough here. Here he comes into his legs. Force misses the tackle, but certainly breaks that play down and stops him from being a big gainer. And those outside guys today are going to be very responsible after the ball is pitched.
Yeah, it was Mark Haycock who came in to finish him off, and George Curry has to be encouraged at seeing his team able to accelerate to the outside and catch up with Neville. And they got a first down.
Yep, just by inches, 1st and 10 from the 36-yard line. Manheim Central, 12-0 this year under head coach Mike Williams. Ginder back to pass on first down, little flare pass out to Neville. Neville fights the tackler, 40-45, and down around midfield where he's out of bounds is the tailback Darrell Neville, who rushed for 1,500 yards this year.
That was a nasty stiff arm that Neville gave Joey Kelchner as Kelchner tried to bring him down, and because of the stiff arm, looked like he tacked on at least another 6-7 yards out of that play. Neville, as George Curry told us, Joe, is one tough customer and very hard to bring down.
Reminds him a little bit of Joe Morris as he built close to the ground, big, heavy legs, and he's quick and very tough to tackle.
Well, I was going to say, watch the stiff arm, but back to live action.
And the ball carrier, Ginder, goes down. Look, some bad ball handling in the backfield as he tried to hand off to Eric Johns, and Ginder goes down, and that'll be a down wasted.
Well, they try to run that option to the short side of the field, and normally that play takes a little bit more room to develop, and when you run it to the short side, you're doing the defense a favor.
There's the big defense for George Curry's Berwick Bulldogs, and the guys, you know, everybody says Berwick's a big team, but they get to the ball quickly. They are not slow by any means, and this is a tough situation here for Manheim Central. 2nd down and 12 as we get a little equipment repair out there, and I'm sure Chad Ginder, Joe, as he walks up to that line, when he sees those big guys across there, thinks twice about maybe running that play up the middle that he's done so many times during the season.
Well, Manheim Central has lost one football game in the last 2 years. They are very successful down in that Lancaster area. I believe they've won 5 of the last 7 Lancaster League titles, and George Curry knows all about that. His team has won 28 in a row. Today, if they win 29, and interestingly enough, they could possibly win their 30th first state title, 2nd straight.
That was Matt Cruz, by the way, that came off offensive lineman for equipment repair, so he's been replaced.
By Zimmerman, number 51, and here is Ginder, rolling left, spotting the receivers, now tries to get out of the pocket. The chase is on. Ginder bumps into 2 dogs at the 49-yard line.
A lot of credit to Tom Robsock. Robsock rushed, broke down the coverage, and forced the scramble.
And linebacker Dwayne Koch finished the job out there. And here's Ginder now. He's got nowhere to go once he gets flushed out of the pocket. And you're right, Joe. Look at Rob Sock do the job there to get him out of there. Now he's really in trouble.
3rd down and 8 for Manheim Central. 2nd series of the game.
Well, you got to remember last week Dunmore and Berwick went scoreless, not through 1 quarter, but the entire first half. We have 2:34 left in the first period. And the Barons inside Berwick territory. Ginder back. Ginder with a lot of protection. Looks over the middle to the 42-yard line. Nailed Scott Ocker.
But he's short again. If you look at the mark now, this looks to me like the 2nd drive in a row and a big 3rd down. That the receiver has been open, but did not get enough yardage for the first down.
And look at Ocker out there. He's saying, let's go for it. Let's go for it. Here's Ginder now. Rolling out. Here comes Ocker back across the grain. You see he catches that pass right in the mid area. And Coach Curry probably telling his kids, watch out for the shift, just in case they don't try to pull Berwick's old trick on the Bulldogs.
Well, they need a yard, and they're going for it. No punt in the ball game. Now they shift, and Ginder will shift back in punt formation from about the 45-yard line.
Watch out for the fake here. He may.
It is a fake. This is Neville. Neville with wide open room, 40, 35, 30. Neville's got the first down with lots to spare.
When I saw Neville lining up in that backfield, I thought maybe they might try to do something like that. And sure enough, with the way they were lined up, he had a clear path to a first down, Joe.
And let me tell you why he had a clear path. Number 74, Neil Fittery, first the fake. And then a great block by Neil Fittery, number 74, to clear out that right side, enough for the first down. Right here, Fittery knocks him down.
Boy, what a great fake, though, by Ginder.
Barons 1st and 10. The pitch is to Neville, this time the left side. Neville, inside the 20-yard line, picks up about 5 or 6 yards on the carry around the left side on the pitchback.
Well, these guys are showing me something here, Joe. They're pulling off some interesting plays that really seem to keep Berwick off balance at times, and something we haven't seen the Bulldogs have problems with this year.
But one of the things they're doing and what they believe is going to work, they've got to go outside on that big Berwick defense, and everything that's worked so far has been outside the ends.
Well, this is where Berwick stiffened the last time. Let's see if they do it again, Paul.
It's been all barren football here in the first quarter. Ginder turns around, gives to John. John is stacked up by 5-6 Bulldogs of Berwick.
Eric George on the carry.
Looked like Jason Slusser with the initial hit there, with a little bit of help from Sean Carden. Those guys are tough, though. They really seal it off up front. But again, Joe, I think what you were saying before, they're just running this play up the middle just to keep everything honest.
Matt, 16 seconds left. They may try to get one last play off in this first quarter with no score.
All right, then he's 6 yards. It's 3rd and 6 now. Ginder lines them up in the eye. John's the fullback, Neville the tailback, rolling right, looking for receivers, and he throws. It is incomplete at the 15-yard line. Intended that time for the flanker back Heistand.
Ginder looked like he just didn't have a good grip on that ball, and I think that's something you might see a little bit more of as it gets a little colder this afternoon. That ball seems to get a glaze on it. And that was the last play of the first quarter. And there is no score in this state AAA Eastern Final, or semifinal if you prefer. Berwick nothing, Manheim Central nothing. We'll be right back with second quarter action.
This Dunmore South Williamsport Championship update is brought to you by Fidelity Bank of Dunmore. As always, your personal bank and probably your best bank choice.
Here at Myers Stadium, Dunmore and South Williamsport. Deep into the first period, there is no score, 0-0. Dunmore kicked off to South Williamsport. They exploded on a drive of 53 yards, but it sputtered around the 9-yard line, and Dunmore took over. They held. There's no score here. First period, Dunmore and South Williamsport at Myers. I'm Jay Christopher. We'll have more on an update.
No one likes to wait for their money. Fidelity Bank understands that. That's why our loan policy guarantees your approval on automotive, consumer, or personal loans in 15 minutes. With some banks, you have to wait hours or days. And you thought there was no difference from one bank to another. And right now, earn a whopping 6% on your Christmas club at Fidelity Bank. 6% is the highest you'll get, and Fidelity Bank has it. Fidelity Bank, Dunmore Corners, the new Greenridge Plaza, or in the Keystone Industrial Park, Dunmore. As always, your personal bank.
While we were away, Scott Ocker kicks a 38-yard field goal. Watch it.
This is one of the best field goals I've seen in high school football this year, or anywhere for that matter. This baby is straight and true and plenty to burn. Look at that. First play of the second quarter, and it's 3-0 Manheim Central over Berwick. Only the second time this year that Berwick has trailed in a football game this early that I can remember. I think the last time was at Coughlin.
And the first score they've given up in their last 11 quarters.
Actually, in the Lockhaven game, Tim, I remember that game.
You're right.
The last regular season game, Lockhaven came down and drove, and they got behind in that game.
You're absolutely right.
Actually, 12 quarters because the field goal was the first play in the second period. All right, here's the kick. Kowalski back at the 5-yard line, to the 10, to the 15, the 20. Looks for a seam and is hemmed down at the 24-yard line.
Now, Joey Kowalski is, of course, the big hero of last week's game with 114 yards against Dunmore. And he certainly put on some performance last week. Number 21 of the Berwick Bulldogs.
Now, how about this? You talk about Kowalski and the Berwick offense. This is only the second time they've touched the ball. We're in the second quarter. So Manheim Central not only scored, but they took a long drive to get it done.
And I never thought it would be that way. I thought it would be just the opposite, if anything. But there's a long way to go, and it's 3-0 right now. Berwick behind.
All right, Joe Kelchner set to work. Floods receivers on the left side. Kelchner rolling to the left, looking for an open guy. Won't find him, and he's nailed in his backfield for a loss all the way back to the 18-yard line.
Matt Cruz, the defensive end for Manheim Central, made that play work. Number 72 didn't bite for Kelchner's fake, held his ground. Of course, Kelchner outside. Watch him now. on the left end. 72, Matt Cruz, and he makes the play happen.
And also Mike Martin and Fittery, too, all in there. But there's number 72, as you said, Joe. He made the play, Matt Cruz. And Coach Curry has to be a little concerned right now at the fact that his team isn't quite maybe as crisp as he would like them.
Lost about a foot on the play. Let's call it 2nd and 10. Kelchner this time rolls right. He's got 2 receivers there. Tucks the ball under his arm, spins off a receiver, grabbed by the shirt, and leg down at the 28-yard line.
Cruz again, Joe.
I expected to see maybe Berwick try a little bit more of that power football off right tackle, off left tackle that worked so well against Dunmore last week. But right now, look at Kelchner. He's just looking outside right. He's going. He's still being pressed outside. Nothing up toward the corners, and he's going to be stacked up.
And there's Cruz again, pinching off that outside lane that he wanted to go to.
It is 3rd and 6. Kelchner has not gone to the air in the ball game. Puts Kowalski as a single setback from the 28-yard line. Kelchner takes a few steps back, tosses over the middle for Marty Force. Penalty markers down, and the ball way overthrown by the receiver.
We have 2 markers down. I think you're going to get pass interference, and you're also probably going to get a holding on Berwick.
Yeah, flag down on the field.
Well, let's see if we can pick it up here. Coach Curry wondering who it's on. He wants to know whether the hold is on.
Right here, when he ties his feet up here, that is pass interference. That stops him from getting to the ball.
But I think Coach is asking the question about the holding in the backfield.
So we got interference here. All right, we're waving that one off. No penalty. All right, now we have illegal participation by the offense, 12 men on the field.
So here's exactly what happened.
Well, if I could just stop you, though, Joe, he wants to know who it was that was the illegal player.
Absolutely, but what happened, the reason you pick up the other flag is because the play technically didn't happen.
That's
so that
right.
didn't count.
Exactly.
With the 12th man on the field, that play is a dead ball foul, so it didn't count.
There's your officials, the referee Jim Stevenson, Bill Amy, Bill Cruson, Art Audrey, Bob Shook, and Bozart, all from the PIAA officials.
I'd love to get a replay of that and see if we could count the 12 men out there. I don't know if we've got that wide of a shot, but I'd like to see if there are 12 men out there. Obviously, the officials think so. George Curry doesn't think so. And Berwick actually has this play where they'll bring a guy in and off the sideline, just a couple of yards off the sideline.
This is loss of down, too, is it not?
This is a major penalty. They're back down on the 14-yard line.
Well, I'm sorry, Paul.
You can hear Curry out there yelling, "What down is it?" They're calling it 3rd down and 20 from the 14-yard line. I guess Mr. Curry a little bit upset on that call.
Well, last year in the playoff games against Middletown, Berwick had to play come from behind for the first time in that season, and of course the result was good. They're going to have to do it today and work out of a hole here.
3rd and long. Let's see if Kelchner tests his arm. They're sticking to the ground game. Kowalski slips at the 18-yard line. I don't know if that field is that slippery. We were on it. Wasn't that bad?
It seemed kind of hard, if anything. Well, now play a little field position game as you see Kowalski going back to the huddle. Looks like Manheim Central is going to get the ball in good shape here, Joe, because the wind, what there is of wind, is blowing in the face of Joey Kelchner, who will be punting.
Unta and Heistand are deep. Kelchner ready to kick it off from about the 10-yard line. Kelchner gets it off. It's a high, doesn't get too much leverage, and it's taken him down at the 35-yard line by Duffy Dietz.
Well, not bad field position, Joe. I'm sure every coach on earth would like to start at the 45 every time.
Well, I think it's suck-up time now for the Berwick defense. The one thing they have never been this year is down by 2 scores. They got behind earlier this year to Coughlin, came from behind to win. They got behind to Pottsville at Berwick, came from behind to win. And they got behind at Lockhaven, came from behind to win. Each time, though, it was just 1 score.
All right, Ginder the quarterback, Johns the fullback, Neville the tailback. The first period was all action between Ginder and Neville.
They may try to get it all on this play here.
Fakes the option into the line, pitches to Neville, but he meets a defender, and that is Eric Bauer sealing off the end.
Oh, what a great job by Bauer. You talk about paying the price. That Neville kid is strong. He's really built low to the ground. Now watch Bauer. He hits him hard. And fortunately for Bauer, Neville didn't run right over him. What a great tackle.
And Joe, as we were coming down in the car today, you mentioned Bauer and said he was going to be a key to shutting off that outside game. And sure enough, right here, he did the big job. Eric Bauer, 5'10", 155 pounds, senior for the Berwick Bulldogs.
No one has scored twice on Berwick this year.
2nd and 13, Neville with 42 yards rushing here in a period and a half. Shifts into the line now. And Eric Johns, the fullback. This is Ginder. Ginder looking. Ginder throwing. Hits Neville at the 45-yard line. The guy can run and he can catch.
But just a short gain, and I'll tell you why. Because Berwick's defense came blitzing in and sort of shut that play down before it got a chance to get open, before Neville had a chance to get out. Watch Berwick now. They're going to rush Ginder here, and this play never has a chance to develop deep.
But nice coverage here by Joey Kelchner to get out there, make the open field tackle, and keep him from tacking on any more yardage on that play. So good play by Joey Kelchner.
So they pick up about 3 on the play. It is 3rd down and 9 from the 44-yard line of Berwick. Running backs are split, double wide receivers to the left side. Ginder showing an air game here in the first half. Hits Neville again, short of a first down by a couple, but down at the 37-yard line.
And Johnny Wharton, the Berwick Bulldogs, stopping him right there, short of the first down.
Great hit by Wharton. So far, these last 2 plays, we have seen 2 excellent one-on-one open field tackles.
Watch Wharton here. On the play, comes up, makes sure, boom, you're gone, pal. You're not going any farther.
That's a one-on-one. It brings up 4th down and 1, and you know now they're going to go for it.
Watch for the shift again.
Well, let's see if he gives to the bread and butter guy, Neville. It is not given to Neville. Ginder tries to struggle for the first down. He's right on the yard line. This one they may need a microscope to see if he's got it.
I think he's got it. What do you think, Joe?
Well, according to the mark, it's a first down. They're moving the change. And Ginder did that all by himself. They actually had him, I think, for maybe a yard loss there. But Ginder just tucked it down and drove it. Now watch, they've got him stopped.
Kind of
the line
bounces.
of scrimmage, yeah.
Actually bounced off his own man, to be honest with you, yeah.
Drives it right through there.
Well, if you just joined us, Berwick completely outplayed here in the first half as the Barons lead 3-0 on a 35-yard field goal. This is a long pass to Scott Ocker. It's intercepted. No,
yes,
it is.
Yes, it is. And that's John Wharton that makes the interception at the 6-yard line. Nice interception by Wharton. And again, here's Ginder trying to throw into double coverage, and this time he got burned, Joe.
If you use electric heat, this Alaska Stoker stove will save you up to $1,000 or more every year. This beautiful cast iron Stoker stove can heat your entire house and water, and you don't need to build a chimney. Plus, Alaska stoves are automatic. They burn up to 4 days at a time, and you never shake a grate. Alaska Stoker stoves. See one burning today. Call 1-800-HOT-BTUs for your nearest Alaska stove dealer. That's 1-800-HOT-BTUs.
It's TV time. Time to head for Time Markets for a video and munchies like Pardo's Perky Peanuts and Cashews, fresh donuts, deli items, oven roasted chicken, Time Markets milk and bread, and fresh Maxwell House coffee, all from Time Markets.
There's your score. Manheim Central 3 on a 35-yard field goal. Bulldogs with their backs to the wall, 2nd and 10 at their own 5-yard line, 6:07 remaining in the first half.
And of course, the Manheim Central drive stopped by a key interception, in Berwick now is driving deep from their own territory.
Kelchner with Kowalski and Masic in the backfield. Number 34 is Masic. This is Woodashik in motion to the right side. Kelchner doesn't give, but he is nailed back on his own 3-yard line.
Well, there you see the quickness of Neil Fittery, the young man that the Manheim Central coach Mike Williams told us about. He is very quick. He's not the biggest guy on earth, but I'm going to tell you, he said, I wouldn't trade him for anyone.
Well, what we've seen and heard and read the past week, guys, I think maybe a lot of guys underestimated the type of football. And here's the interception by Wharton.
This is the one that stopped the drive,
nice
gave
catch.
Berwick the ball, but now they're looking at a 3rd down and 9 in their own territory, deep.
Kelchner over the goal line on the 3rd down. Kelchner hands off to Kowalski, and Kowalski gets nowhere. It'll be 4th down, and they'll be kicking out of their own end zone.
Now, there's two things that Kelchner is going to have to watch out for as the punter. Number one, don't step out of the end zone. Don't step on that line or it's a safety. The other thing is, I wouldn't be surprised if they may go into a full force, let's put 10 guys on the line and go for the block. But at this point, it doesn't look that way for Manheim Central. You see 2 guys back deep. But there's Kelchner, Paul. He's going to have to be very careful about putting his foot on that back line.
All right, let's watch the snap. It's a good snap. He gets it away. Bunta and Heinstad. Bunta at the 35-yard line. The little kid from Vietnam, number 5, to the 35, hits a wall, still going. Bunta, with a lot of quickness, is drifted out of bounds inside the 30 at about the 26-yard line.
All righty, we're 4 minutes and 19 seconds away from halftime. The score, 3-0, Manheim Central leading Berwick. We'll be right back.
Wise Foods, Berwick proud.
Hello, I'm Mayor Lou Bianchi. Berwick has a lot to be proud of. Good work ethics, a close-knit community, and we're committed to the future. And I'd like everyone to know that we're proud of our Bulldogs.
Wise Foods, makers of Wise potato chips and other fine snacks.
We started out as a little old bank, but as your needs got bigger, so did we. And we're still growing. And we want you to know that today, we can serve every single financial need that you and your family have. But we also want you to know this. We'll never get so big that you can't get close to us.
The First National Bank of Berwick, a community bank where customer service is the top priority for all your financial services.
The Barons 3, the Bulldogs nothing. 4:35 in the second period, and Manheim Central on the march after the punt with a 1st and 10 at the Bulldog 28-yard line. Ginder, who has thrown for 11 touchdowns this year, intercepted for 10. 855 yards. Ginder caught in his own backfield, manages to slip away, and then has got his head slapped down right at the 30-yard line.
You know, Berwick is really not giving Ginder an opportunity to pitch that ball out to Neville. And there's the best thing to do to break down the option, is to get there so fast that the quarterback doesn't even have a chance to get the ball out to that exciting running back, Neville. They lost 2 on that play.
You're exactly right, Joe. That is the way to stop the option. If the quarterback doesn't have time to do anything with the ball, nothing's going to happen. And that's exactly the key to this right now.
2nd and 12 at the 30. Duffy Dietz, the messenger boy for Mike Williams, brings the play in, and Ginder throws the pass. It's complete to the 5, to the touchdown. Duffy Dietz, a 30-yard touchdown pass from Chad Ginder to wide open Duffy Dietz. How did he get that wide open?
I'll tell you how, Paul, if you don't mind. We talked about Berwick last week against Dunmore, the fact that the corners have a tendency of cheating a lot, cheating up toward the line of scrimmage, and that's exactly what happened, and Dietz got behind everybody else on the defense, and it was gone.
Number 20, Eric Bauer is the kid on here. He's up a little bit, as Tim said, and watch it just go right by Bauer. That's a nice pass. That's why that play is successful.
Sure was.
All right, Ocker is 39 out of 45 from extra points, and this one sails through, and it's all of a sudden Manheim Central 10 and Berwick nothing.
First time this season Berwick has been down by more than 1 score, down by more than 7 points. So now we find out about this Berwick offense and about Manheim Central's defense.
Kind of a shock for the Berwick fans below. They were seated down, a couple of thousand that made the journey to see their team trailing by 10.
Well, we know that Berwick certainly has the wherewithal and the personnel to come back in this ball game. It's just going to be a little bit of an uphill battle. But once again, I allude to the game last year with Middletown when the Bulldogs got down and were able to come back late in the game. And once again, let's talk about that 4th quarter conditioning, Joe. You know, there's a second half to this ball game, and Berwick is highly conditioned football team, and that may make the difference if they can keep the score close.
And with 3:52 remaining, plenty of time to get on the scoreboard here. Ocker's kick is deep. It is to Kowalski at the 9-yard line. Kowalski picks up Mosic for a blocker. Comes to the 20, to the 25, weaves his way to the 29-yard line where there'll be 1st and 10 for the Dogs.
And you know, he might have gotten through there a little quicker had he not run into his own man trying to come up that seam.
What an important drive this is for the morale and emotional standing of these two football teams. 3:46 left in the first half, and Berwick really needs to establish some kind of personality right now.
And what did you say on the last series, Joe? You're surprised they're not trying the old, let's blow them out up the middle. So let's see if they do it.
Kowalski gets rest for a spell as Joe Kelchner, trailing 10-0, gets set to work. 7 men on the defensive line. There's a fumble, and who's got the ball?
Kelchner, I think he was able to catch his own fumble there.
Berwick has it, but again, what a key play. They're looking now at 2nd and 13. Looks like he just mishandles it right there off the snap, and he's lucky, Berwick lucky indeed, that there's nobody out there, because that ball's just sitting on the ground for 5 or 6 seconds.
Well, as we look at Dan Ratchford's statistics sheet, all the big stats and numbers are right on the Manheim Central. There it is, Bethlehem Catholic 8, Montoursville nothing. Last we heard, no score between South Williamsport and Dunmore from Myers Stadium. 10-0 here. Kelchner looks to throw. Kelchner almost intercepted by Ginder as the pass intended for Massich.
Boy, Joe, he threw in the quadruple coverage there. Not a real high percentage kind of play.
Well, watch. See, this is something Berwick is not used to doing, and the same thing for Joey Kelchner. Not used to having to throw the football. Berwick's passing attack works much better when they're diving into the line, when they're getting 4 and 5 and 6 yards off tackle. When he's got to throw on 2nd and 13, any quarterback is going to be at a disadvantage, and certainly Kelchner, because they haven't been in that situation very much this year.
Exactly.
3rd and again long from the 25-yard line. They need 14 for the first down as the clock continues to move down at 2:45 in the second period. And penalty markers by the head linesman. 1, 2, 3 yellow flags on the field.
That looked like encroachment on Manheim Central. They're claiming that somebody on Berwick moved, but I didn't see that.
A dead ball, encroachment, contact by the defense.
Well, Berwick got them to jump off a little bit. Now, you can jump off if you don't make contact as long as you get back, but there was some contact on the line of scrimmage.
So the Barons pick up their first penalty of the ball game, a 5-yarder on the encroachment call, and it'll be 3rd and 9 from the 30-yard line. Clock is stopped now at 2:45 here at Goodman Stadium on the campus of Lehigh University. Stadium dedicated last year, holds 16,000. Not that many here today. Kelchner wires it near the ground, intended for Marty Force, and the official says no.
And Berwick's going to have to get out the punting unit again, and once again you see Joey Kelchner a little dejected there about the fact that the pass wasn't up just a little bit, because Marty Force was open on that play.
Well, you recall last year, Berwick able to run against a much bigger Dunmore team. Today, Manheim Central Barons a wee bit smaller, and the Dogs unable to penetrate. Here's Kelchner's punt
nice
high. A fair catch called for by Highstand, and he'll put it in play at the 38-yard line of Manheim Central.
That was a wonderful punt by Joey Kelchner. And let's take a break right now with the score. Manheim Central 10, Berwick nothing. And let's find out what the story is from Jay Christopher on the other ball game going on this afternoon.
This Dunmore South Williamsport Championship update is brought to you by National Paint and Supply Company, your wholesale and retail distributor for Bruning paint.
Here in the second quarter at Myers Stadium, it's South Williamsport leading Dunmore 6-0. Jason Jean on his own 46-yard line took a screen pass and ran it in for the score. Dunmore was blitzing with a 7-man rush, and he evaded all the defenders and took it in. So here in the second period, South Williamsport is leading Dunmore by a score of 6-0. We'll be back with an update.
Bruning paints. Color your world with quality. No matter where you live or what kind of home you live in, bring out the best. Bruning, for beauty that remains to be seen from the moment it's applied and for years after. Color every corner of your world and every kind of surface with a name known for quality for over 60 years. Bruning paints. Our best is on sale now, so you can color your world and save.
Check out great fall prices on our complete line of floor and wall coverings at National Paint and Supply Company, Wyoming.
Well, there you saw Dunmore trailing 6-0 over South Williamsport, and it's 10-0 here, Manheim Central. With 2:34 left to go in the half, the Barons will have the ball at their own 38-yard line with a 1st and 10. Ginder, Johns, Neville, and Highstand in the backfield. Hawker and Eisenhower the ends. Ginder's just a junior quarterback, passed for 855 yards, 53% passing average. Through the middle of the line is Neville. What quickness, and he's down right at the 50-yard line goes Darrell Neville.
Darrell Neville is a little upset that he slipped because he feels he might have broken that one all the way for a touchdown. Now, this is the first time today we've seen the play up the middle work.
Boy, nice block there up the middle. I couldn't catch the number of the young man who did it, but Neville may be right. If he wouldn't have fallen, he might have gotten more. Marty Force there to finish the play off.
The 5'10 senior, Neville, now has rushed for 52 yards here in the first half as Ginder rolls to the right, looks to the air, throws incomplete. Intended for Duffy Dietz right at the out-of-bounds marker.
I think Ginder just threw that away. Now let's go down on the field and talk to Melissa Sanders.
Hi, I've got a very interesting character with me. This is Jason Lanning, 12 years old with the Cowboys. Jason, will you show these folks your head? All right, turn your head around the other side there, Jason. But now, who did this to you?
My dad. He draws all the pictures on my head and all.
Does your mom know? Do your mom know about this?
Yeah, she loves it.
She loves it. Back to you guys.
2nd and 10 for the Barons at the 50-yard line. Nice guy, Jason. And Ginder turns one way. The ball is loose, and Berwick may have it. Let's see as they pile up. Berwick players indicated it is their ball. No official indication.
I think it was Slusser that got that one if Berwick has the ball.
No, they did not recover it. It was on the ground. Again, Berwick penetration there. That would have been a very important turnover right there. There has not been one yet.
Well, I thought for sure Slusser had this ball.
Other than that first
there he is, right there, number 84.
He just was behind. He couldn't quite get up.
He had the best shot out of anybody, that's for sure.
And Manheim Central has called timeout. There's only 1:47 left in the first half. Berwick trailing 10-0.
And if you tuned in late, it was a 35-yard field goal by Scott Ocker after he missed a 32-yard earlier. A rather 38-yard field goal that gave it a 3-0 score. And then a 30-yard pass from Ginder to Dietz.
So it could really be 13-0 at this point. Berwick's just going to have to go in at halftime and just come out with some kind of a different game plan. And I personally think that you're absolutely right. And also, while Berwick's trying to figure out what to do in the second half, we're going to have a couple of things I'm sure you'll enjoy at halftime. Field of Dreams with Mike Stevens, one of his wonderful pieces once again, and the Bulldog Polka. In case you missed it earlier this week, believe me, you will enjoy it.
I think that's going to be the brightest spot this the afternoon when they hear the Bulldog Polka for the Berwick fans. 1:47 left to go. This is a spacious stadium. A couple of NFL season games were played here earlier this summer. Seat 16,000, the home of the Lehigh Engineers.
The stadium just over a year old, Paul. October 1st, 1988 it opened. And, by the way, are you aware this is the first high school game ever played here? I just found that out.
That's history. 3rd and 11 from the 48-yard line of the Barons. With 1:47 left to go, they're up on top by a score of 10-0. Ginder shovels it out to Neville. Neville picks his hole. He's across the 50 and down at around the 47 or 48-yard line.
Tackle made by Dwayne Koch.
Dwayne Koch in on the tackle that time for the Bulldogs, and another timeout called by, let's see, Berwick calls it this time.
Berwick takes timeout.
Well, as you well know, there are a lot of other semifinal games being played today in Quad A, AAA, AA, and A. And, of course, the one we showed you earlier with Jay Christopher, South Williamsport leading Dunmore 6-0.
And Bethlehem Catholic leading Montoursville in the AA.
And Bethlehem Catholic going for its second straight state AA title. Becca, an incredible program down in this area, as a matter of fact, of course, since Lehigh University is in the Bethlehem area.
And, of course, they're not playing in this area today. They've sent them down the road. Why make them play somewhere where people might come out and see the games?
There's Old Glory, and that's a pretty stiff wind starting to pick up here at the stadium. And as you're watching, the wind going left to right. And, of course, that would be an advantage for Berwick should they come down here, get the ball late, and try to kick a field goal. 32 degrees, but I think with that wind looking at like it's about 10 miles an hour, I guess that's a wind chill of about 19 degrees. I'm just guessing, but whatever it is, it's pretty nippy down there on that field when the wind's blowing.
And the winner of this game, of course, will play the winner of the Greensburg-Salem-Pittsburgh-Perry game next Saturday, 1 o'clock, Hershey Stadium. They're out of the huddle. We're ready to go. Coach Curry rambles back to the sidelines. 1.5 minutes left to go. 4th and 5, and back to punt is Ginder. Kelchner, the lone receiver for the Bulldogs. Ginder from his 45-yard line gets it away, aims it to the sideline, bounces at the 21-yard line, and it'll be rolled dead at about the 24-yard line, where Berwick now has 1 minute and 20 seconds to try to avoid the whitewash, at least here in the first half.
I would suspect that Berwick would come out of this throwing the ball. And again, they have not been forced to throw too often this year, and the fact that they have to throw now in order to get a score on the board will be something new for them.
Well, I think with 2 timeouts left, Joe, I think you might see that little look-in pass to Marty Force over the middle, and just see if Force can at least try to break something up the middle.
Kowalski, Force, and Mosic all lined up wide to the right. Here's Kelchner rolling, trying to spot one of those 3 receivers. Lots of time, lets it go, and it's into the crowd out of bounds, and the clock will stop with 55 seconds.
And Joe, Force was open for just a split second down on the sideline, about 10 yards off the sideline, but Kelchner was more worried about the defense that was chasing him out of the backfield.
Not only that, but the great secondary coverage by Manheim Central.
Take a look at it here, number 63. That's Mike Martin.
Pretty tough to complete a pass when you're throwing away from yourself like this across the field.
55 seconds left to go in the first half. At the 18-yard line, it is 2nd and 10 for the Bulldogs. Joe Kelchner laying down a 28-game winning streak on the line. He goes for all the marbles to Woodishik, just out of the reach of his outstretched arms at the 40-yard line.
He had him beat, no question about it. Nice touch on it, and that ball just missed being completed for a long, long gainer for Berwick. Again, a nice pass by Kelchner.
Boy, here it is now, and he's got plenty of time to throw. Martin not in his face this time.
Single coverage.
Just out of his reach. Here it is again. They say baseball's a game of inches, football's right there with it, and there's a case where if Woodishik makes the catch, Berwick's at least in good field goal territory.
So now it is 3rd down and 10 from the 24-yard line. 49 seconds left to go in the half. Kelchner fakes the handoff. Kelchner dumps it over the middle. It is aimed for Kowalski, but as you saw, he threw off balance and the pass way short.
Let me tell you something, boys and girls. That play was wide open for a touchdown. Kowalski is gone. An incredible rush by Manheim Central, first of all, breaks the play down and doesn't give Kowalski a chance. Everybody for Manheim Central's going right. Kowalski wide open. I mean, there's nobody next to him. He's gone. Look at that. There's nobody there.
The closest guy is like Matt Cruz, number 72, is about 20 yards away from him in the middle of the field.
Well, it's 4th and 10, and the Barons will get the ball with about 40 seconds as Kelchner punts from his own 15-yard line. Punta and Heisten back. Throws the pass complete. 40, 45, the 50. Kowalski is rather on his way.
What a play. What a play. That's number 20 making the catch for Berwick.
Eric Bauer, first time in on the offense.
Out of nowhere.
Kind of a sleeper in there.
Uh-oh, there's a penalty against Berwick.
Oh, boy, look at this.
I think it's illegal man downfield, if I'm not mistaken on this one.
Number 58 downfield on the flat.
Oh, boy. What a penalty.
Oh, that's a killer.
Well, Berwick would have had at least a 1st and 10 from about the 30-yard line with 33 seconds remaining. Enough time to go in for the TD to make it 10-7, but instead it is walked all the way back.
Dwayne Koch apparently was downfield, very anxious on that play. And you know what? Manheim Central saw this coming. Manheim Central knew this play was coming.
All right, we have an ineligible receiver downfield on the offense. Beat 4th down.
Yeah, he's not supposed to be there, not at that point in the play anyway.
Well, he already had the ball. From that, I couldn't tell that he was downfield.
Sharp eyes by the official.
There's a backbreaker. And Manheim Central, as I said, saw this coming. This was just a great effort to get this ball completed. They threw that right in between double coverage.
And now it'll be 4th and 15. Kelchner back inside the 10-yard line. 20 seconds, the clock moving down, takes his time, gets it away. High spiral kick. They will let it roll, and it gets a good Barron roll and is down at the 48-yard line with 12 seconds. The Barons with probably 1, maybe 2 plays to end the half.
Yeah, I think you'll see Manheim Central come out here and just try to go deep. They'll throw 3 wide and maybe go deep, only because they figure, hey, if they can get a score before halftime, they can really demoralize Berwick.
Well, they may just leave the clock run down
that goes
now.
to show you how much I know, huh?
They will not get a playoff. They'll score will be Manheim Central 10, Berwick nothing as they head into the locker room. And the Berwick crowd down below sitting a little bit stunned.
But they're still cheering the football team as they go off the field, and we're glad to see that. Well, we'll be back with halftime activities here at the State AAA Eastern Final with the score, Manheim Central 10, Berwick nothing.
Diane Hunter is getting her first car.
Is it red?
With a little help from her dad.
It's safe. Sound.
Safe. Sound.
At Franklin First Federal, we've known the Hunters since they bought their first house.
What does safe and sound mean?
Well, it's reliable.
Reliable?
Today, we're looking forward to helping Diane's dad
But a tank is safe and reliable.
with the financing of her first car.
So's this.
The Hess truck's back and it's better than ever. Christmas is here. The Hess truck's back. Two sirens that together. Christmas is here. The Hess truck's back. Hey, those head and tail lights shining. Hey, that ladder's really climbing. Got a secret coin bank and emergency flashers.
The new Hess fire truck, $8.99 at Hess stations.
The Hess truck's back.
Happy holidays from Hess.
Well, it's 10-0 at halftime here as both teams have gone into the locker room. And just in case you tuned in late, it was a 38-yard field goal by Scott Ocker with 11:56 to go in the second period. After he missed a 32-yard line, it was 3-0. Then later on with 3:52 in the half, it was a Ginder uncorking a pass to his flanker back Duffy Dietz. Pass was good. The kick for the extra point was good. And that's the way the score stands, 10-0 as they move into the locker room.
And what a beautiful place to play a football game. Murray H. Goodman Stadium at Lehigh University on the campus. And just a great day for a football game. And as Joe and I were just talking a little bit before, Joe, Berwick still got plenty of time in this ball game and has the tools to come back and get back into it.
That's true. The only thing that I would be concerned with as a Berwick fan is that they have not been down 10-0 at all this year. They have not been down by 2 scores. And I think they came into this game feeling they could do some things, and they didn't do many things in the first half. It's true, they were a couple of plays away and a couple of mistakes away from tying this football game, or at least making it 10-7, and they actually could have been ahead if a couple of things had worked for them. So I don't think they're that far off the game. I think they've actually done a pretty good job shutting down that option. But there was the one big touchdown play that hurt them midway through the second quarter, and that has been the difference so far. First score came early in the second quarter. In fact, it was the first play of the second quarter.
That's right.
And let me tell you what, at this level, you don't see high school kids making many 38-yard field goals. This kid also kicks off quite deep. He's a very nice-looking high school kicker. That made it 3-0. And then the big play right here, midway through the second quarter. Berwick brings it up just a little bit. The defender is beaten right there, and that's going to go all the way for the touchdown. That's what made it 10-0, and that's where we stand right now at halftime in this game. Last score we had was Dunmore and South Williamsport. South Williamsport leading that game 6-0, and Montoursville was trailing to Bethlehem Catholic in their game 7-0. You know, we spent a lot of time early in the year, starting in August, following these football teams around. And now as it gets colder and you watch these young men, and when it's 20 and 15 degrees, you wonder what motivates them. Well, Mike Stevens put together a little piece of a story that may give you an idea of why these young men are out here in December playing football games.
We, each of us, play out our lives on a field of dreams. It's a playing field full of so many twists and turns, so many dead ends, so many small victories, and the defeats, too many, some days. We can measure our progress sometimes in inches, and then there is little to do but step into the fray again. Inch by inch, we move up the field, but the toll can be heavy. The price of success, the price of dreams, is always high. Hit, hit, hit again until the field is a churned mass of mud-colored green. And still it waits. The goal, the dream, beckons to us as it always will. Before long, if we are lucky and we have played the game better than the rest, the gains come in yards instead of inches. It still isn't an easy game, the game played here on the field of dreams, but now, at least, it is one of slow, steady progress. The dream that was the goal all this long while begins to take shape and form, and there is the thought, perhaps only deep down but still there, that somehow the goal which seems so far away might be reached after all. How much work and sweat and pain does it take? Enough, that's all. If you work hard enough, maybe so hard that it hurts, so hard that the sweat is like a rain, then there is no doubt that victory can be yours. The sweet smell of it is like nothing that has gone before. It is something you can sense in almost every fiber of your being. Victory. You know it to be yours because you earned it, because out here, where the grass is colored a dirty brown, there is no room for those who would only dream. Out here, there is room only for those who will seek their dream, work for it, make it part of their lives. In the end, it is they who will savor victory on their own field of dreams.
I don't know what I can say out of that except the man's a master, isn't he?
Only Mike Stevens can put it into words like that fashion.
Well, I think it gives you a little bit better idea when you see it like that and hear it like that, why these kids are out here for 3 hours a day, 6 days a week, right through the year.
As you look at that press box and you're wondering where we're at, we are way at the tippy top. See those two windows on the top? That's where we are, right in the catbird seat here at Goodman Stadium in Lehigh University.
And that was sort of done on purpose, Paul, to keep me away from the crowd.
By the way, we want to send a special thanks to Clark Lift Service Incorporated for that scissor lift with photographer Mike Chalco up there, bundled up against the coal.
Oh, man.
Clark Lift has offices in Pittston, Bethlehem, Reading, plus 32 road service vans, sale and rental of new or used Clark Industrial forklifts, Bobcat skid loaders, and Mark Lift scissor lifts and booms. And that's a Mark Lift scissor lift, I think, Tim.
With Mike up there. Hi, Mikey. Nice to see you up there, pal.
And I think, hello, Mike.
There we go. Can we wave a little bit here? There we go. That will wave.
I think Mike Stevens ought to do a slow-motion music piece on the guys up there on the cameras who stand out there in the cold all year.
They're coming to take a shot at us, Joe, but I'll tell you, why don't you stay down so the Berwick people don't see you, you know?
They're a little quiet right now, everybody.
All right. Let's talk a little bit more right after we take this commercial pause.
Today's semifinal state championship game is brought to you by Wise Foods, makers of Wise potato chips and other fine snacks. Time Markets, we've got the time for you. Alaska Stoves, 1-800-HOT-BTU. And by the First National Bank of Berwick will never get too big for you.
We started out as a little old bank, but as your needs got bigger, so did we. And we're still growing. And we want you to know that today, we can serve every single financial need that you and your family have. But we also want you to know this. We'll never get so big that you can't get close to us.
The First National Bank of Berwick, a community bank where customer service is the top priority for all your financial services.
TV time. Time to head for Time Markets for a video and munchies like Pardo's Perky Peanuts and Cashews, fresh donuts, deli items, oven roasted chicken, Time Markets milk and bread, and fresh Maxwell House coffee, all from Time Markets.
There is your halftime score. Manheim Central 10, Berwick nothing. An important stat, Tim and Joe, that Dan Radford just showed me. Berwick had 5 drives in that first half. They all started inside their own 30-yard line and all ended up in punts.
Yeah, that's not the way to play field position, and in high school football especially, that is very important to be able to get off to a good start. Meantime, Manheim Central has had very good field position, and obviously it's turned into one field goal attempt that was no good, a field goal that was good, and of course the big touchdown, so it's 10-0.
Ginder's passing arm connected for 7 out of 9 attempts, and Neville rushed for 59 yards. All right, Melissa Sander is down on the field at the 30-yard line. Melissa, what are you going to show us?
Well, we're down here on the field, and Berwick High is about ready to start putting on their show. And speaking of Berwick and music colleges, every now and then you get a little ditty in your head. Get a load of this one.
We're the town of Berwick. We have lots of heart.
Watch yourself.
Famous Berwick Bulldogs have really proved their part. They practice hard and they don't know how to take their licks. They stand up to the other teams and beat them just for kicks. They were great in '88 and all the years before. They're looking to the future and for the crowds to roar. The whole town stands behind them, backs them to the hilt. They're at the game to show their pride in a team that Curry built. Here they come, marching down the field. Got family and football, they wear it like a shield. Here they come, heading for their goal. Clear the way, look out today, Berwick's on a roll. Let's all get together and go out to the game. We've shown the state, let's show the world how Berwick gets its name. People here in Berwick know how to stand and fight. Our football team has shown them that the Bulldogs really bite. We are the Bulldogs. Let's shout it loud and clear. And when we get together, we all stand up and cheer. We are the Bulldogs. We're looking to the future with no fear. So our opponents should get ready, 'cause we all are coming back again next year. Together, we all stand up and cheer. We are the Bulldogs. We're looking to the future with no fear. So our opponents should get ready, 'cause we all are coming back again next year. 'Cause we all are coming back again next year.
I'm going to be singing that thing in my sleep. Okay, let's take a look at some other music. The Bulldog Marching Band is on the field, 90 members strong, under the direction of Ronald Wasser with the drum majors, Mel Morgan and Shan Keeney. Let's take a listen.
It is halftime. Berwick trailing Manheim Central 10-0, and the teams will be coming back out shortly in those other state games today. Take a look. Montoursville has tied the game with a 99-yard drive to tie it at halftime, 8-8. The other game, Dunmore and South Williamsport. We'll get an update from that game with Jay Christopher. It is halftime here, 10-0 Manheim Central over Berwick.
This Dunmore South Williamsport Championship update is brought to you by Fidelity Bank of Dunmore. As always, your personal bank and probably your best bank choice.
It's halftime here at Maya Stadium. It's all knotted up at 6 apiece. With about 2 minutes and 20 seconds left in the second quarter, Dave Silvestrini took a handoff and barged up the middle for 8 yards and a Dunmore Buck touchdown. The point after fails, so we're tied at 6-6. That's the update here from Maya Stadium in Wilkes-Barre, and we'll be back with more. I'm Jay Christopher, Newswatch 16 Sports.
No one likes to wait for their money. Fidelity Bank understands that. That's why our loan policy guarantees your approval on automotive, consumer, or personal loans in 15 minutes. With some banks, you have to wait hours or days. And you thought there was no difference from one bank to another. And right now, earn a whopping 6% on your Christmas club at Fidelity Bank. 6% is the highest you'll get, and Fidelity Bank has it. Fidelity Bank, Dunmore Corners, the new Greenridge Plaza, or in the Keystone Industrial Park, Dunmore. As always, your personal bank.
What about ties now, Tim? Of course, the championship games are set for next week in Hershey and Middletown and AAA and A. Can't have a tie. We've got to have somebody elected to go to those games. What happens?
Well, as that gentleman sips on his hot chocolate, we'll try to explain that if there is a tie at the end of regulation, then they have a sudden death period, just as they do in the pros. First team that scores wins. Should that entire 12-minute period go scoreless, then they go to what's called a 10-yard rule. Each team will get a chance at scoring from the 10-yard line. If the team that gets the ball first scores, the other team has a chance to come back and tie it. And then the next team that scores after that wins. So basically, it has to go to that double overtime to get to that 10-yard thing. We saw that happen in the Southern Columbia Nativity Eastern Conference semifinal a couple of weeks ago. So it has happened, and it certainly is an interesting process, and it certainly is a lengthy process, too. So we hope it doesn't come to that in either one of those games, because at this time of the season, the kids are pretty dog-tired.
Well, both teams are out of the locker room, of course. Berwick Bulldogs will be going through their calisthenics under the goalposts, and here come the Barons of Manheim Central, feeling just a little bit good about their 10-0 lead here at halftime. And Joe, what do you got?
Well, tonight, don't miss Newswatch 16 for our kids tonight at 7 o'clock. WNEP-TV has gathered kids from all over northeastern and central Pennsylvania to play the role of news anchors, reporters, weather, and what's this, sports people?
Uh-oh.
They'll look at the acid rain problem, WNEP-TV's weather school, and the sticky consumer situation of a child taking on a bubblegum company.
Wow.
We better watch out. They'll be after our job soon. There's at least 15 people down this crowd who are after our job. Don't miss Newswatch 16 for our kids tonight at 7.
Wait a minute, our jobs?
How do we know that, Joe? They tell us that?
Oh, what a greeting we get. It's so much fun. And it is fun. Let's see if Berwick can really do the job in the second half. They've, I'm sure, gotten a alteration of the game plan. I have a feeling that Joe, Berwick may just go back to the very basic at the start of this second half as they get the ball, and maybe just try some power football right up the middle.
You got to remember that Kowalski last week, and there is Joe Kelson, the quarterback, 6'2", 185 pounds, and a senior. Brother Jake, of course, on the third-string quarterback slot for the Fighting Irish.
I think what's going to happen, last week I talked to Coach George Curry after the game. He said at halftime against Dunmore, we decided to go back and just play our kind of football. We tried to spread them out a little bit in the first half. This is Coach Curry talking about Dunmore. And sure enough, we had some problems. We went back, played our brand of football, and I think you're going to see them try to do that in the second half. And I think they're going to try to come out. They're not going to panic. They're going to try to run the ball off tackle.
There's a certain similarity. Last week, Joe Kowalski had 8 yards in the first half rushing against Dunmore. Today, Joe's got 8 yards against Manheim Central. But last week, as they call him, Killer Joe went for 106 yards rushing in the second half, which was the key to the ballgame.
There's Coach Curry. His final words to his team before the second half.
And if things don't change, Tim, these will be the final words to his team during the football game this year. I've never seen anybody make more adjustments in a high school football game at halftime than Coach Curry.
There's nobody in high school football that I could think can out-coach George Curry. He pretty much knows the game better or as good as anybody else. It's just a matter of whether the kids execute it for him.
And of course, that great coaching staff that has been with him now, a couple of those coaches have been with him since his very early days at Berwick, which goes back to, I think, 1970. Berwick will receive. They'll take the second half kickoff. If you recall, they won the toss at the beginning of the game, elected to decline, and now they will get the ball in the second half.
And teeing it up is Scott Ocker, the man who kicked the field goal and the youngster who also kicked the extra point. Number 2, Scott Ocker, 5'7", 150-pound senior, plays out of the split end position. And deep for Berwick, Kowalski and Masic, and here's a squib kick by Ocker, fielded by one of the upbacks, and down he goes. Scott Laubach, number 40, fielding the lopsided kick by Ocker. And Berwick has it first and 10, somewhere at the 28-yard line.
Last week, Berwick controlled the second half of the football game against Dunmore with power football, running it off tackle, long drives for the one score, and they controlled the second half. Again, running the ball off tackle. Let's see if they think they can do that in the second half of this game.
And let's say if they can set the tempo here, they can get Manheim Central off balance to start the second half.
Kelchner, Dietrich, Kowalski, and Force in the backfield for the Dogs. Kelchner fires to Marty Force, hits him at the 34-yard line for a gain of about 5 on the pass play.
Well, that goes to show you how much George Curry can fool us, Joe. He comes right out and throws a pass.
Well, maybe he thinks he's got to split them out just a little bit. He's got to make them work just a little bit harder on the outside. Marty Force.
Kelchner now 1 out of 6 as you take a look at that pass play.
And remember, both of these football teams, these kids play both ways. 15, 16 kids pretty much use both sides of the football.
2nd and 5 from the 33-yard line for the Bulldogs. Kelchner fakes one way, gives to Kowalski, goes to the short side of the field, and barrels his shoulders over the 35 to the 36-yard line.
You know, these Manheim Central kids may be small, but they do get to the ball carrier quickly.
Well, they really closed that up very quickly on Kowalski. It looked like he was going to have a little more running room and at least get the first down, but as it was, he's still 2 yards short.
3rd and a couple from the 36-yard line. Opening moments of the 3rd period. Berwick trailing by a score of 10-0 after not allowing a score in 12 of their last periods. Oop, movement on the line. No whistles, or is there?
There
They're
is a
going to
whistle.
call it, yeah.
Now, I'm not sure what they're calling here. I didn't see any contact made. It looks like they're going to call offsides on Manheim Central, and that's exactly what the call is.
We have encroachment defense.
That's a first down, automatic.
Yeah, that will be enough for the first down. There's the movement, number 65 on the defense, and he does not get back in time.
Andy Weatherby, number 65, the 6-foot, 185-pound tackle, guilty of the infraction. So they do pick up the first down on the penalty, and now it's first from the 41-yard line. Kowalski, the tailback, to the 40, to the 45, to the 47-yard line. Kowalski, who ran most of the ball in the second half against Dunmore, may be getting that same call here today.
Frank Kirchner, number 9 for the Manheim Central defense, came up and closed that down. Another nice one-on-one tackle. Watch Kirchner coming up here, get right into the legs here. Down he goes. Great tackle.
Are you surprised they're still trying to go outside, Joe?
No, I'm not surprised because there's a lot of time. They only need 2 scores to win. I think they got to put together a drive and get on the scoreboard.
The ball at the 42-yard line. Kacherka ready to snap it back to Kelchner. He drifts off the left side, picks up maybe 2 to about the 48-yard line. He'll be short of a first down by 2.
I wondered when we were going to see that play. Last week, 5, 6, maybe 7 times in the game, we saw that one, and it went for good yardage.
3rd down and 2. The ends are Woodishick and Slusser, the tackles Gwenner and Carden, Robsock and Bowman the guards, and Troy Kacherka is the snapback man. Right behind him, Joe Kelchner, the senior quarterback, spins around. Again, Kowalski finds the gaping hole. Kowalski to the 40-yard line. Another first down. And down maybe to the 39-yard line.
Joe, their secret weapon once again is doing the job. Joe Kowalski getting the opening and going into the first down territory and down into Manheim Central. There he is. Look at him go through the hole there. And a great block by number 41 for the Berwick Bulldogs.
Kowalski with 106 yards rushing in the second half last week, trying to set that same pattern here this afternoon in the second half. 1st and 10 from the 39-yard line of the Barons. Kowalski again. Big hole again. Slips through across the 35 to the 32.
If we just could replay last week's Dunmore-Berwick game, it would look exactly like this. At halftime, they go in, they haven't scored. They come out, they say, hey, we used to be able to run off tackle. Let's do that, and that's what they're doing. The question is, if it works so well in the second half, why don't they try it in the first half? Great blocking now. The Berwick offensive line now starting to dominate the football game.
3rd down and a couple from the 32-yard line of the Barons, and somebody wants a timeout, and that stalls the action.
So Berwick will take its first timeout.
Timeout for Berwick.
The score, 10-0 in favor of Manheim Central. We'll be back with more play-by-play action when we return.
Wise Foods, Berwick proud.
Hi, I'm Gerald Mace, Executive Director of the Greater Berwick Chamber of Business and Industry. Berwick is a community with a proud past and a bright future. A community where football brings all of us closer together. We would like to thank the citizens of Berwick for their support of the Berwick football team.
Wise Foods, makers of Wise potato chips and other fine snacks.
We make the best Stoker stoves today. A 4-day burn leaves you with more leisure time. You never shake a grate. There's no dust to clean up. It's totally automatic. There's no overheating or chimney fires. Does your old stove do this for you? It's time you got an Alaska Stoker stove. See one burning today. Call 1-800-HOT-BTUs for your nearest Alaska stove dealer. That's 1-800-HOT-BTUs.
There is John Bowman, number 74. You saw Kowalski run to his left side. It was Rob Sock, the 6'3 junior, who was responsible for opening the hole. And then when he went right side, it was Rob Sock. That was Bowman. This is Rob Sock. He sprung him for the big yardage the second time to the right side. 2nd and 2 at the 32. Kowalski again, but it's tackled in his own backfield that time. A nice leg tackle.
Number 84, John Griffith, coming in to make the play for Manheim Central here, and he really makes the penetration and gets the tackle, the outside linebacker for Manheim Central.
3rd down and 3 for Berwick, and they're down in that territory right now where they'll go for it if they don't make it on 3rd down.
A 38-yard field goal and a 30-yard pass play. That's the scoring we've seen so far in the ball game, all in favor of Manheim Central. 3rd from the 32-yard line. Big play for the Bulldogs as Kelchner with Dietrich. And this is Mosic getting the call this time. Mosic fighting for the first down, and he's got it.
And that was a good term to use, Paul, fighting for the first down, because that's what he was doing out there. He just kept his legs pumping and got enough for the first down, and Berwick's in business now, deep in Manheim Central territory. There you see number 34, running back Matt Mosic, and watch him just fight here to get that extra yardage, and he does.
Ball resting at the 28-yard line. The deepest penetration for Berwick in the ball game with 7:14 left in the game. Again, the back's in the eye. Kowalski straight up the gut that time, right down the middle. Gets maybe 1, maybe 2 yards on the power play.
And Joe, Manheim Central wasn't buying that little pitch out that would have gone out to Mosic. Just weren't buying it. They stayed at home and got the play in the middle.
For the most part, it has been the plays just off tackle behind the big tackles that have opened up big yardage for Berwick on this drive.
2nd and 10 now. Kelchner 1 for 6 in the passing game in this ball game. This time goes for pass number 7. It's complete. This time to Marty Forrest, the flanker back.
Fumble.
The ball fumbled.
Manheim's got it.
Oh, what a break for Manheim. Looked like he was down when the ball got loose, but they called it a fumble.
Yeah, it looked like a pretty late fumble there, but Chad Ginder has apparently recovered. Let's see how far down Marty Force was after he caught this before the fumble occurred.
No, it's out.
Yep.
He was fighting for the extra yards, and the replay clearly shows the referee, the official right on it. That's a fumble, and that Berwick drive crunched with that turnover.
And Ginder right there, a good sense for where the ball was right there to make the fumble recovery for Manheim Central. Berwick controlling the ball for 5.5 minutes there and coming away with nothing.
6:20 as the Barons take over, leading 10-0 from their own 22-yard line. The shovel is to Darrell Neville. Neville knocked out of bounds at about the 30-yard line. Neville with about 61 yards rushing today has been doing the brunt of the ball carry.
And he goes right out behind 74. Neil Fittery just follows his right tackle up the field for big yardage.
And pretty close to his 8-yard per carry average. He got about 7 on that one.
2nd down and 3 for the maroon and white Barons of Manheim Central. 12-0 this year. The pitch again to Neville. The fake into the line. Neville on his horse. 40, 45, and Neville is knocked out of bounds, jumps over the bench all the way across the field around the 50-yard line.
And once again, I do believe it was John Wharton who made the saving tackle there, or very possibly Mr. Neville could have been gone for a touchdown run.
Perfect use of the option. Dive into the hole. There are 3 Berwick defenders on him. Then he pitches out to the left side. He's on his way for a big gainer, and that is exactly how the option works to perfection.
Joe, I think Curry was right when he described this guy Neville as Little Joe Moore.
And there's John Wharton, who made the tackle to save the touchdown for Berwick.
1st and 10, just shy of the 50-yard line. 5.5 minutes to go in the third period. Another big hold for Eric Johns, the fullback, who rushed for 6 touchdowns this year, and he's down near the 46-yard line, 45.
And Joe, that's another key to the option, though, to keep them honest, to go with the dive play right up the middle, and that way you keep the outside fresh. And what a hole blown open there by the Manheim Central offense.
Great blocking there by Cruz and Martin and Oberlin.
Out of the huddle they come. Mike Martin ready to snap it back to junior quarterback Ginder. Ginder shovels it out to Eric Johns, the short side of the field, but he's tripped up at the ankles.
Eric Johns carries. Forced out of bounds by
Jason Slusher came out and I think shut that play down before it had a chance to develop.
Good lateral pursuit there by Slusser to string that play out. Let's take another look at the fumble. Watch Ginder. He's the man that stripped force of the ball, and then he's the man who goes over and recovers the football. So I guess that's why he knew exactly what was going on down there. Good play by the quarterback.
Little arm tackling. Here's Ginder again pitching to Neville. Neville to the 40, the 45. He kind of shifts into high gear once he passes the line of scrimmage, and he's knocked out of bounds at the 39-yard line. Good enough for yet another first down.
Oh, it's almost like 2 steps and go.
And I'll tell you, he is getting great blocking at the initial contact. Again, there's so much room out there. Look at that pass. I mean, when you're pitching out the ball like that, that's a perfect pitch. Sometimes with the option, there's a chance of a turnover. They're not quite so clean with the exchange, but these guys have got this thing down to perfection.
And there's Joe Kelchner, 6'2", 185-pound senior. Ginder tries the left side this time. Again, Neville with a pitch. Neville breaks an ankle tackle and rolls down at the 30-yard line. Picks up about 4.
That time, linebacker Dwayne Koch saved that play by just getting a piece of Neville on that one. Otherwise, he might have gone for a little bit more and been able to accelerate. He was never able to because Koch got a hand on him. There he is, the 6', 200-pound senior for the Berwick Bulldogs.
It is unbelievable to me how well this option is working against Berwick. I mean, they have just got this thing down perfect.
2nd and 6 for the Barons. The pitch to the fullback, Johns. Again, they tried the short side of the field, but there you see 3-4 Bulldogs to waylay him outside.
Joe, it's almost like they're going that way to set up the run the other way, that pitch the other way on the option play.
Well, one thing they haven't done, one thing that Montoursville has done is gone ahead of Bethlehem Catholic. 3rd quarter, and Montoursville, our 4th-ranked team in the Super 16, our 3rd-ranked team in the Super 16, undefeated, and they're leading Bethlehem Catholic 15-8. More important matters right here for Berwick.
3rd and 6 at the 30-yard line. Berwick controlled the ball for over 5 minutes here in the first half of the third period. Now the Barons trying to do the same thing in the second half of the period. And they give to the fullback, Eric Johns. Johns stumbles forward inside the 30 to about the 28.
Went to the short side of the field. I would have bet my shoes they were going to run the option to this side, but they took the short side, and that sets up a 4th down and 3 on the 28. How critical is this with 4 minutes left in the third quarter? If they get 3 scores up, I would predict that Berwick, who has not shown us that they have the big play potential, would be in big trouble.
Now the Berwick sidelines watching something they're not used to. Their team trailing this late in a ball game. 10-0, Manheim Central leading.
The big play, they need 4 yards for the first down. On 4th down, a penalty marker's down there. Is the pass incomplete? But the penalty marker thrown at around the 20-yard line. Let's see what that's going to be all about.
I think that's going to be some kind of a holding.
And I wouldn't be surprised if Berwick gives the play back and takes the 15 yards.
Well, it is against Manheim Central.
No, they're going to, I don't believe they'll take the penalty. No sense in giving them the ball back.
That was an illegal shift against the Barons. Last we heard, Dunmore and South Williamsport were 6-6, but we'll be going back to Jay Christopher in a few moments to find out what that game is transpiring in the second half.
Just a little 5-yard penalty, so they wouldn't take that. So now Berwick has to come back out and drive down the football field again. This time they're starting from the 27-yard line.
3 minutes, 36 seconds left to go. 10-0. Manheim Central leading in the state semifinal. The winner goes to Hershey next week for a 1 o'clock kickoff game. Kelchner hurries his throw intended for Masic, but he drops it in front of him by 5 feet.
And it's a good thing Masic was there, because it could have been a little intentional grounding. And of course, that's the worst of all penalties, because you get the yardage, plus you get the loss of down, and absolutely plenty pressure on Kelchner by the Manheim Central front line here.
He's looking over to this side, but there's nobody open. And again, as the rush is about to take him out of the play, he just sort of unloads it.
Kelchner 1 for 9 passing in the ball game now with a 2nd and 10 at the 27-yard line. In motion comes Woodishik to the left side, the bottom of your screen, as Kelchner rolls to that left side. The rush is on, breaks an ankle tackle, 2 more men rush, and Kelchner's decked at the 25.
How about that pursuit? Wow, they are fast.
Number 74, Neil Fittery, and Andy Weatherby, number 65, in on the tackle there for Manheim Central. And look at this. Talk about speed.
He just runs out of field, and there's nobody open. Again, the secondary, they're quick. They're not as big, but they're fast, and they're covering the Berwick receivers.
John Griffith, the linebacker, misses the first one, but watch Fittery. He does the job right there and takes Kelchner down.
3rd and 13 for the Bulldogs, trailing 10-0. Kelchner drops straight back this time. Fires over the center, complete to the sure-handed, blue-fingered Woodishik, and Woodishik spins to the 40-yard line on a first down.
Boy, what a great effort by Kevin Woodishik, and where has he been all football game?
That's a play that Berwick loves to use. He just curls around to the flat area.
He gets this all by himself.
Right.
He actually catches the ball 5-6 yards behind the first down, and then right here drives for the first down. Kevin Woodishik, I wondered where he has been today, and somehow Manheim Central must be taking him out of the action.
Woodishik with 28 catches, 10 of them for touchdowns this year. First down. This time Kowalski's hemmed in, and that is big number 63, the defensive end Mike Martin, that brings him down.
And you know what? On that play there, it looked like Kowalski almost wanted to pitch the ball back to Joey Kelchner. He kind of looked back at him, glanced back at him like, here, Joey, take it. You run with it. But the Wiser holding on to the ball.
So the clock counting down, under 2 minutes to go, still 10-0, 2nd and 11 for the Bulldogs in their own territory at the 38-yard line. Out of the huddle they come. Woodishik will be flanked on the right side along with the flanker back, Matt Masic. Marty Force to the left side. Kelchner back to pass, looking. The middle is open. He's throwing long.
Open.
Marty Force is there. He caught it at the 30-yard line.
Oh, boy, double coverage. What a perfect pass. I figured, I'm watching him streak down the sidelines. I'm saying, no way. Great pass by Joey Kelchner.
That was the same play we saw earlier in the football game that Kelchner just overthrew a little bit, but this time, talk about being right on the money. This is just one pretty pass, and he never has to break stride. He's right under the ball. Force is right there in between the double coverage. Look at that. Wow, that's a pro pass.
That ball thrown any place else, it's incomplete, it's knocked down. Right to that little opening right there.
Well, Force has had 21 catches this year, but perhaps that one the biggest so far. 1st and 10 in Barron territory on the reverse. Here comes Masic. Masic to the 20 and zigzags his way inside the 20 to the 18-yard line.
And the Berwick fans on their feet right now for the first time today, cheering the Bulldogs on as it looks like they're starting to move the football.
Frank Kirchner, number 8, just shuts this play down. That one was going to go for a lot bigger yardage.
The Bulldogs, who were held scoreless last week in the first half, held scoreless in the first half this week. Clock moving down with 38 seconds. 2nd and 4.
Look out.
Straight down the middle to the 15-yard line, and that will keep the clock running.
And they'll be a yard short. 3rd down and almost 2 yards for the first down. That little quarterback keeper sneak right up the middle over those 2-3 big linemen.
Well, no doubt about it. They need a score here to stay in the ball game. We've got 1 full quarter left to go. Clock is moving down with 10 seconds. This may be the last play of the 3rd period. They need the yard for the first down at the 15-yard line. Kelchner will try to sneak it and appears to have it.
Just kind of rolled off his blocker there and went in for the first down, and that'll be it for the 3rd quarter. And at the end of 3, it's still Manheim Central 10. Berwick, nothing. Stick around. We got another great quarter of football to come here on WNEP.
We started out as a little old bank, but as your needs got bigger, so did we. And we're still growing. And we want you to know that today, we can serve every single financial need that you and your family have. But we also want you to know this. We'll never get so big that you can't get close to us.
The First National Bank of Berwick, a community bank where customer service is the top priority for all your financial services.
Wise Foods, Berwick proud.
Hello, I'm Dr. David Campbell. I'm proud to be the Bulldogs team physician. These kids are like family to me, and I'd like to thank everyone for their dedicated support of this team.
Wise Foods, makers of Wise potato chips and other fine snacks.
There's your score as we get set to begin the fourth and final period here at Goodman Stadium on the campus of Lehigh University. State semifinal. The winner goes on to Hershey next week for the state championship. The loser packs it in. Now, Berwick driving. They've got a 1st and 10 inside the 15 at the 13-yard line of Manheim Central as they talk it over in the huddle, and here they come.
And I wouldn't be surprised to see that little post pattern, if you will, to Kevin Woodashick sometime in this series.
Kowalski. And here's the reverse again. This is going to be Mossage. Mossage maybe a yard, that's about all, to about the 12-yard line.
And they weren't buying that one at all.
Well, what they actually do with that, though, is they set up 2 or 3 more plays off of that formation. Next time they may pitch back a reverse. They can throw out of that formation. So I think they just tried to show them a little something there. Gives them a little more to think about now, that Manheim Central defense, because Berwick can do a lot of things off of that particular play.
You're absolutely right, Joe. That's almost pretty much just a setup play. If it works, great as far as success, but it means something later.
Kelchner fakes to Woodashick. He'll take it himself. He's to the 10. Head over heels to the 6-yard line goes Joey Kelchner.
And what a big hit there from number 14, Duffy Dietz.
It's coming right
Manheim
at you now.
Central.
Thought he might take it outside.
Boom.
On the 6-yard line, and the clock is moving. Under 11 minutes left. Berwick needs 2 scores.
Diederich and Kowalski in the eye. Kowalski dotting the I as Kelchner calls the signals at the 6-yard line. It's going to be Kowalski, and he slips into the end zone for the first 6-pointer for the Bulldogs.
Right over the tackles. That play has been so successful for them all afternoon, at least in this 3rd quarter and now into the 4th quarter. Great blocking. Look at that. What a block. Oh, my. Rob Sock just leveled his man. That's called a pancake block. You flatten him on his back.
Look at that. Boom. Who was that he took out of there?
Oh, what a great block. And Kowalski, with a head of steam, drives the other 2 defenders in.
Here's Kelchner's try for the extra point.
Right at you.
Looks straight, long, high enough, good enough, and now all of a sudden we've got a squeaker. 10 for the Barons, 7 for the Bulldogs. We'll return with more action from Goodman Stadium in a moment.
This Dunmore South Williamsport Championship update is brought to you by National Paint and Supply Company, your wholesale and retail distributor for Bruning paint.
On the update from Myers Stadium, the scoreboard reads 14-6 Dunmore. It was Dave Silvestrini getting his 2nd touchdown of the afternoon, a 12-yard run, making it 12-6 Dunmore. The point conversion after was a 2-point conversion by Tom Marchese, who ran it around his right side and made it into the end zone. So, in the 3rd period, Dunmore leading South Williamsport by a score of 14-6. We'll be back with more on the update.
Bruning Paints. Color your world with quality. No matter where you live or what kind of home you live in, bring out the best. Bruning, for beauty that remains to be seen from the moment it's applied and for years after. Color every corner of your world and every kind of surface with a name known for quality for over 60 years. Bruning Paints. Our best is on sale now, so you can color your world and save.
Check out great fall prices on our complete line of floor and wall coverings at National Paint and Supply Company, Wyoming.
All set for the kick after the touchdown. It's 10-7. A 72-yard drive by the Berwick Bulldogs puts them on the scoreboard with 10:45 remaining in the game. It's going to be Punta, the Vietnam kid, to the 10, to the 15, to the 20, and he's ankle tackled out at the 23-yard line.
And you sense the Bulldogs a little fired up out there, Joe, after that touchdown?
Oh, there's no, you know what, the funny thing is those kids don't get a chance to get off the field either. I mean, they just made that drive on offense. Now they have to turn around. They're still fired up, and they're playing defense now. And there's a kid, by the way, Jim Danini, who never gets any recognition, who just made that great tackle.
How about this? Montoursville working on an undefeated season, trying to knock off the defending state AA champions, leading 18-8 over Bethlehem Catholic.
There's a good shot at Ginder. Ginder
Goodbye.
keeps, and Ginder's down at the line of scrimmage at the 25-yard line.
Now, that time, they're a little slow making the pitch. In previous plays when this has been successful, Ginder right now, he's pitching the ball, but this time it's a little slow and breaking. After the handoff here, he's ready to turn and pitch, but this time it's a little bit slow thanks to the great defensive play by Ryan Anderson.
Yeah, let's give a little credit to Ryan Anderson there. Maybe they were slow, but boy, he sure got there quickly, though.
Anderson's the reason why.
He beat the play.
2nd and 11 with 9:50 remaining in the ball game.
Now remember, they can throw the ball. This kid has thrown for, I think, 20 touchdowns.
Chad Ginder. And he steps back into the pocket, looking, throws over the center. He's got his man. That is Eisenhower. Eisenhower racing to the sideline to the 40 and a first down for the Barons.
And it's a good thing Joey Kelchner can get to where he has to quickly, because that's a touchdown otherwise. Joey Kelchner making the tackle and also laying some pain on the receiver.
And Joe Kelchner on the stop.
Just look at the block right here. Just gives him enough time to get it off. Ginder just gets it off, and then it's a race across the field toward that first down marker, and Eisenhower won it, and then paid the price after the tackle. Joe Kelchner, the last man, by the way, between Eisenhower and the end zone.
Eisenhower hasn't caught too many passes, only 6 this year, but each one of them were 13 yards or more.
And Mr. Eisenhower went down heavily on that shoulder. And we'll be back with more of this fourth quarter action in this state AAA semifinal. Manheim Central leading Berwick 10-7.
If you use electric heat, this Alaska Stoker stove will save you up to $1,000 or more every year. This beautiful cast iron Stoker stove can heat your entire house and water, and you don't need to build a chimney. Plus, Alaska stoves are automatic. They burn up to 4 days at a time, and you never shake a grate. Alaska Stoker stoves. See one burning today. Call 1-800-HOT-BTUs for your nearest Alaska stove dealer. That's 1-800-HOT-BTUs.
Daytime, nighttime, anytime's the right time. Time Markets, we've got the time for you.
It's TV time. Time to head for Time Markets for a video and munchies like Pardo's Perky Peanuts and Cashews, fresh donuts, deli items, oven roasted chicken, Time Markets milk and bread, and fresh Maxwell House coffee, all from Time Markets.
Back live at Lehigh University. As you see, the score has tightened up. Manheim Central 10, Berwick 7. The Barons with a 1st and 10 at their own 40-yard line, and 9:29 remaining on the clock. Ginder, Johns, Neville, and Heistan, the backfield for the Barons. The fake to Johns, and Ginder tries to slip into a hole, but his feet come down from and under him.
Very important defensive stand right here for Berwick. They must get the football back with some time. Now, Ginder right here, it looks like he wants to throw the ball, finds nothing out there, and he slips on the turf and goes down for a loss.
He wouldn't have gotten too much farther anyway with the 3 Berwick defenders standing right in his face. So maybe it was better he took the dive.
George Curry with a hat signal, hand signal. 2nd and 11 from the 40-yard line for Manheim Central. Champions of the Lancaster Lebanon League, and the pitch is to Eric Johns, and Eric Johns finds no running room on the right side. Down at the line, it'll bring up a 3rd and 11.
Mark Haycock that time, number 89, shuts this one down. Normally here you want to force this play inside, and Haycock, look at him, 89, here he comes, and he's right on top. It forces it inside, makes the tackle great individual effort.
Yeah,
by Mark
he
Aycock.
really cut off the outside beautifully on that, strung that play out.
Here we go. How about this for a third down play in the game?
Hocker and Heistan, wide receivers to the left. Johns and Neville in the I formation. Ginder back to pass, looking, rolling left, looking for one of those receivers, and it's way, actually the receiver, number 2, Auker, going one way and the ball going the opposite way.
That looked like a Don Coryell play, shades of the San Diego Chargers. Throw to a spot, and if you're there, the ball's complete. Didn't work that time.
Obviously, there was a mix-up on pattern there. I don't believe that Manheim Central's receivers went the right way. Either that or the quarterback threw the wrong way. Fourth down and 10.
You saw part of the large turnout of Berwick faithful, which is nothing unusual for this football team. Well supported and
Ginder.
well documented.
Ginder averaging 32 yards a punt this year. Nails it. End over end kick, and it bounces and it rolls, and it gets a good barren roll inside the 25 and down at the 23-yard line, where the Bulldogs now will have to go 77 yards for a score.
And a smart play by Kowalski there not to handle the ball. We'll be back with more right after we take this commercial break and find out more about Dunmore and in their ball game.
This Dunmore South Williamsport Championship update is brought to you by Fidelity Bank of Dunmore. As always, your personal bank and probably your best bank choice.
An update from Myers Stadium in Wilkes-Barre. The scoreboard reads Dunmore 20 and South Williamsport 6. It was this man, Tom DePietro, plunging in from 1.5 yards out to put 6 more points on the board for the Dunmore Bucks. That coming with 4 minutes and 16 seconds left in the third period. The try for the point after was blocked. In the third period, it's Dunmore leading South Williamsport by a score of 20-6. We'll be back with more on an update. I'm Jay Christopher, Newswatch 16 Sports, Myers High School.
Well, as you saw, Dunmore sailing that ball game 20-6 over South Williamsport. Here, the score tightened. It's 10-7. The clock, the important factor now. It's 7:55 and running, and Berwick with a 1st and 10 from their own 23-yard line.
Actually, Joe, this is probably where Berwick wants to be. They can score a touchdown and eat up the clock, and that'll be it.
Have to hold on to the football now. Take care of the football.
Kelchner puts force in motion, and Kelchner gives to Kowalski, and Kowalski is tackled at the 25-yard line.
Well, it's that big play off tackle. A little aggressiveness there after the play. And by the way, if Dunmore were to hold on and win that game, they will play for the state championship next Saturday afternoon. And, of course, if South Williamsport were to come back and win, they would play for the state championship. But Dunmore now, after getting down 6-0, has come back and scored 20 straight unanswered points.
And Dunmore will play the winner of the West Clarion Keystone game that's going on as we speak.
2nd and 8 for the Bulldogs at the 24-yard line. Here we go. Clock with 7 minutes to go. And Kelchner this time gives to Woodishik the end around, and Woodishik is single tackle at the 32-yard line.
Duffy Dietz saved that one. And Mr. Dietz has been all over the field this afternoon, the inside linebacker for the Manheim Central Ball Club. And there you see Kevin Woodishik. Boy, he turns that outside real nicely, and Dietz makes a nice open field tackle on him.
Stopped them from getting the first down.
Well, it's 3rd and 2 now. Very important. If they miss it, will they go for it or will they punt away? Kelchner, wide receivers to the left, a couple to the right. Kelchner fighting for the first down. Kelchner spins, and on the spin, he got the first down.
That's all Joe Kelchner.
Yep.
He stopped, he turns, and that, if you notice the last time he had a little one of those carries, he spins the body away, and as he's spinning, it falls forward. When you only need a yard, when you're his height, that's a yard.
That's
For my height, you got to do it twice.
But that's where it really pays to be, you're right, Joe, to be a little bit bigger. And, you know, the key is that Kelchner also kept the legs moving.
A 72-yard drive with Kowalski scoring from the 6-yard line in the 4th period. For the 7 points for the Bulldogs, Marty Force in motion. And this is Kelchner. He'll keep it. He's to the 35, Kelchner to the 40, and Kelchner to the 45-yard line.
And Kelchner looking for a little spearing call on that play. Frank Kirchner, the defensive back, kind of sticking the helmet in there on Joey.
And those of you, as you watch Kelchner, and the reason I mentioned Kelchner, he's also the guy if they think field goal. Now, last week, they missed a field goal try and an extra point. So I don't think Berwick is thinking about field goal or tie at this point. If they get close enough, it's going to be a big decision.
2nd and 1 from the 44-yard line. The Bulldogs on the move, trying to get the go-ahead score here in the fourth period. Fake to Woodishick. Kelchner's got it. Kelchner bumps into his own man, but he's got the first down at the 46-yard line of the Barons.
Now everything is working off of Joe Kelchner. He's a little slow getting up.
Bobby
he was
Creighton,
hit hard.
Yeah, Bobby Creighton really laid one into him here.
Now look at, here's the fake into the middle of the line. Now he wants to go outside, but they shut it down out there. He has to take it inside, and he's hit hard, and he's sitting down right now.
Time to take a little bit of a breather. You know, guys, and take a look at it again. Watch number 21 here. Really crush Kelchner. You know, we're talking a little bit about as they work on Joey right now. We were talking about the field goal. The fact is that Berwick has only attempted one field goal this year, 2 field goals rather, and have only made none. So they've attempted 2 this year and have made none. So field goal is not in the thinking of George Curry at this point.
Now, with Kelchner being attended to, he's going to have to come off for a play, and that means they're going to have to bring in their backup quarterback, John Wharton, and he has seen a little bit of action this year, mostly late in the game. It is 10-7. We only have 5 minutes left to go. We'll be right back.
It's TV time. Time to head for Time Markets for a video and munchies like Pardo's Perky Peanuts and Cashews, fresh donuts, deli items, oven roasted chicken, Time Markets milk and bread, and fresh Maxwell House coffee, all from Time Markets.
Wise Foods, Berwick proud.
Hi, I'm Coach Curry. I can't begin to tell you how proud I am of this football team. This football team represents the spirit of the Berwick community. And I'm sure with your continued support, our kids will always be winners.
Wise Foods, makers of Wise potato chips and other fine snacks.
All right, Kelchner had to come out for one play at least. We'll see if he gets back in. And now it's a freshman quarterback, number 7, Ron Polis, 6'2", 190-pounder, will at least call this play on a 1st and 10 from the 47-yard line.
And here's why Kelchner is going to miss this play. He just screamed there.
Freshman Ron Polis gets set, hands off. This is Kowalski. Kowalski to the 45, still digging for yardage inside the 40 to the 38-yard line.
And I'll tell you what, Joe Kelchner missed one play. He's coming back on the field right now. Coach Curry calling the play for him, and he'll come back in.
Mr. Kowalski, who did the job last week, once again is the man who's making the big play for Berwick. And there he is as he scoots outside. Nice block there by number 75, Tom Robsack, to open up that little lane.
Well, they named him Killer Kowalski after the famed wrestler, and boy, I'll tell you, he's showing his killer instinct here this afternoon. Everybody goes down the middle, inside the 35.
It's getting a little nasty out there right now.
Well, this is the key. This is it. 4 minutes left in the game. Berwick on the drive, and this is the football game. Berwick scores, they win. If they don't score, they lose. I think it's that simple.
Well, they pick up the first down. So they're in business now, and again, remember what I said about the fourth quarter conditioning. I keep going back to that, and I think right now that's making the difference. Berwick is doing the job at the line of scrimmage for the most part.
Kowalski with 52 yards rushing, 46 of them coming here in the second half. This is going to be the end around to Mosic. Mosic finds daylight. 25, 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown Mosic and the Bulldogs.
Oh, boy.
I'm telling you, they always come up with the right play at the right time, Joe.
34 yards by Matt Mosic. And after he got by the line of scrimmage, it was Katie bar the door. Here I go. 6 points.
Oh, and I'll tell you what, before he got to Katie, he had to do a little bit of work.
Boy, that is true. Well, the extra point coming right at you. Joe Kelchner with it.
Berwick's first lead in the ball game, 13-10, trying to make it 14. Marty Forrest the holder, Kelchner the kicker, and it is good. It is 14-10, 3:48 remaining in the ball game. Let's take another look at the touchdown by Mossick.
Oh, they get the initial blocking here, but once he breaks through, he's got to do his own work. Now there's the hole. Now he makes his first cut. Now right here, breaks the tackle. He's going to break another tackle right here. And now he's on his way. They're not going to catch him from behind. And Berwick has the first lead of the game with 3:48 left to go.
And I'll tell you what I like, Joe. I like the way he holds on to the ball. Watch Duffy Dietz, number 14. He tried to strip the ball out of his hand, but he was holding on with two. It's not to be, and he's in for the touchdown.
Boy, just like last week, they got back to what they do so well. They run the ball off tackle. They got Kelchner into the offense a little bit more, and they've scored for 2 touchdowns.
Coach Curry and the Bulldogs in the position now they're used to, in a lead, late in the ball game. 3:48 to go. Manheim Central now will have to find some kind of offense to be able to move down the field on Berwick. And you can bet the Bulldogs are going to be hitting harder than they ever have before in this ball game, trying to force a turnover and trying to end it all at once.
John Bowman ready to kick it off. Punta and Heistand are deep for the Barons. 14 points, 6 by Kowalski, 34 by Mossick. It's Heistand at the 9, 10, 15, 20. Heistand 25 to the 30-yard line, and pretty good field position for Manheim Central.
Now, don't forget, Manheim Central can throw the ball. They may abandon the option now, but look for them to go up top. The first time today, they have been behind, and now they're going to have to do a little gut check.
And did you notice how quiet Mr. Neville has been so far in this last few minutes of the ball game? We'll have to see if they go back to him, because the last drive, it was Eisenhower who was making the big catches.
Hawker and Heistand at the top of your screen, the 2 wide receivers. Neville dotting the I, and here is Ginder back to pass. Ginder looking. Ginder.
There it is. Marty Force on the interception, Paul. And I think we can flick the light switch out on this one, huh? The big interception by Marty Force, who stepped right in front of that pass. And I'll tell you what, Ginder telegraphed this one all the way. He never looks another way. Look at him. He's looking that way the whole time. Marty Force takes a look at that one, and it's all over.
Well, that's a sign of a champion, trailing 10-0 in the first half, bouncing right back in the second half with 14 points, taking the lead, making the interception now with 3:17 remaining. Kowalski gets the ball. Kowalski tries to go outside, ducks inside. Kowalski inside the 35 to the 33-yard line.
And I think what you're seeing now, and I'm watching Chad Ginder out there, the quarterback, of course, who plays defense for Manheim Central, walking around with his head down right now and not looking very confident.
Mike Venata coming into the ball game for Shane Diederich for the Berwick offense. 2:45 remaining.
You're not going to see him throw the ball, Paul, that's for sure.
Nope. Eat the clock down. They're at the 33-yard line with 2nd and 6 for the come-from-behind Bulldogs. Want to go to Hershey next week to play the Western champion. Kelchner, he's the keeper man. Kelchner hit high-low by 5 Barons, and he still takes all 5 Barons for 2 more yards.
Wow. They can smell it now, and a penalty marker goes down. It looks like some extracurricular activities going on down on the field. And I think it might have been number 7, Chad Ginder, the quarterback for Manheim Central, who may have gotten into a little frustrating act down there.
The dead ball, sportsmanlike conduct, offense.
Well, that goes to show you how much I know. I guess it was somebody on Berwick who got a little chippy down there.
Well, if you joined us late, Manheim scored their 10 points in the first half. A 38-yard field goal by Scott Ocker, 30-yard pass from Ginder to Dietz, and that was 9-0. Ocker's extra point made it 10-0. That's the way it stayed at half.
Paul, watch him now try to strip the ball out of Kelchner's hand here. That's what they need right now. They have to get the football. Look at him here. Look at Ginder trying to go after that ball. Look at number 65 trying to get that ball for Manheim Central, but not to be. The Berwick suffers the penalty, the unsportsmanlike conduct, back to their or back to Manheim Central's 40-yard line. Coach Curry in the driver's seat right now with the Bulldogs, trying to make it to their second straight state, that's hard to say, Bass, AAA championship.
Right. Disposed of Alec Whipple last year to win the state championship. And, of course, the 28-game winning streak on the line. This would make it 29. They could finish with 30 straight. Keeper play by the quarterback, Kelchner. Clock will continue to run under 2 minutes now.
And in case you're wondering where Mr. Zone's voice is, Joe is trying to head down to the field to speak with the victorious coach. Should it end up that way, and it looks pretty good right now for Berwick with 1:54 to go and a 14-10 lead over Manheim Central. And there is Coach Curry as Manheim Central takes a timeout. And that's something you'll see, Paul, George Curry do all the time. He will go out and try to talk with his ball club on the field. Not too many coaches do that. Number 65 for the Barons right now, looking a little gimpy. That's Andy Weatherby, who just a couple of plays before was joining up with Chad Ginder trying to strip the ball out of Joey Kelchner's hand as he gained quite a few yards. Let's go back, Paul, and look at the lead touchdown now for Berwick. And what an effort here by Matty Mossage.
Covers that ball up, wasn't going to get it stripped till he got through the line. Now tucks it in, gets by the last defender, and tiptoes through the tulips into the end zone.
Quite an effort, to say the least.
Two big drives, 72 yards in the third period. They actually scored on the first play in the fourth. That was a 6-yard run by Kowalski with 10:45, and then a 34-yard run by Matt Mossage with 3:48 in the fourth period. And that's the scoring that has been done by the Bulldogs. 2 extra points by Joe Kelchner, and they are in top 14-10, trying to protect that lead now with under 2 minutes to go.
Paul, an amazing football team. All season long, as they did last year, they dominated most of their opponents. They get into the state playoffs, and for some reason, they seem like they have to get behind before they put it all together. And, hey, that's fine as long as they win.
That's right. They were behind against Middletown last year in a game that we televised for Bethlehem Catholic. And from behind here in this one.
Another timeout. It looks as if Manheim Central has taken another timeout with 1:47 left in the ball game. And again, you know, we have to remember here that Berwick is in a situation where they're third down and about 20, and they really do need to at least get a first down out of this deal. So maybe they will go to the air, Paul, just to try to keep control of the football.
And if Berwick stays on top, they'll be in Hershey next week for a 1 o'clock kickoff game between either Greensburg-Salem and Pittsburgh-Perry. Now, Pittsburgh-Perry is 11-0, undefeated. Greensburg-Salem has lost twice. Their overall record, 9-2. And, of course, Dunmore leading that big A-game big over South Williamsport would play either Clareton or Keystone. Both those schools undefeated.
Paul, here's a situation that maybe sound really bizarre, but, you know, Coach Curry seems to pull tricks out of the hat every once in a while. What would you say in a situation like this? It's third down and about 20. There's 1:47 left in the game. What do you think about a quick kick and trying to get Manheim Central pinned back at about their 3 or 2 and make them go 97 yards if they're going to beat you?
He'd be flirting with that kind of an idea. I think he's more instead trying to protect that 14-10 lead. But he's been known to go for scores late in the fourth period when he didn't need them. But now he needs to protect a 4-point lead. 3rd and 22 when they come up. So easily, Manheim Central could very well get their hands on the ball again if they do not pick up the first down.
And by the way, you know, last week in the ball game 6-0 when Berwick beat Dunmore, the extra point was missed, but the 2 very important extra points made today because a field goal doesn't do Manheim Central any good at this point. They would have to score a touchdown.
All right, 3rd and 22 for the Bulldogs of Berwick, leading 14-10. And he's going to pass. Here's Kelchner, hides it on his hip, flips it in the air for Kowalski. That would have been a touchdown, but just off his fingertip.
And if not, it certainly would have been a first down. And look at George Curry. He said, wow, that play was designed perfectly. It looked just like it did on the chalkboard, but it didn't go that way. Take a look at this. Kowalski, he's as open. I could have caught this if I were that wide open. But it was just a little too far down the line for him to pick up. He would have made the first down yardage. And now it's 4th down and 22 for the Berwick Bulldogs.
Kelchner stepping back in punt formation.
I don't think you're going to see any shift on this. They'd have to shift and get him drawing them off about 6 times to get the first down here.
Duffy Dietz, number 14, is deep. Here's Kelchner. One-man rush.
This is perfect.
Dietz lets it drop,
Look at
and
this.
it rolls into the end zone for a touchback. It'll be brought out to the 20, and now the clock. A minute 35. Tim, we probably see the air filled with football.
Yeah, I think you're going to see Manheim Central go 3 wide outs, maybe 4, and go for the downs here. They really don't have, they have only 1 timeout left, and they have a lot of real estate to pick up here. And I see a penalty marker down on the football field here. The officials discussing the penalty at this point. The flag down at the 16-yard line.
Jim Stevenson, the man in the white hat, the referee appointed by the PIAA.
Looks
All
like
right.
it's against Manheim.
We have a dead ball foul. Blocking below the waist against the receiving team. It'll make it first down at 20.
That's not a good way to start out the drive, but I'm not so sure the 20 yards means that much, Paul, at this point. They got to go 90 to get a touchdown.
A minute 35 remaining in the ball game.
Well, maybe it's really appropriate, Paul, that Berwick's defense is what's going to have to win the game right now. They're the ones that are going to have to do the job, and they have done it all year. And look at that, Montoursville leading Bethlehem Catholic in the 4th quarter. Good ball game there, 25-16 in the AA semis.
And it's odd that all 3 were losing. Montoursville losing there, Dunmore was losing to South Williamsport, and Berwick losing here, but they're now all ahead.
And Montoursville trying to dethrone the defending state AA champions, who happen to be from down in this area where Lehigh University is. Bethlehem Catholic, of course, down this way, just a few blocks away.
All right, after the stall, we're ready for action. Ginder, Johns, Neville, and Heisten in the backfield for the Barons. Ginder steps back, looks for the receiver, and it's batted down right at the line.
Almost intercepted there. And I'm surprised that he went for that kind of a play, but I guess he figures if they can get somebody open in the flat there, they're going to try to juke their way for a touchdown. Ryan Anderson looks like the guy who did the job here. Batted the pass down. Let's see if we can see it here.
There it is.
Absolutely.
Number
And
86.
almost had the interception. What a thrill that would have been for him. That would have been the complete day.
Ginder will try again. Steps on his heels and fires long. Incomplete. Intended for Duffy Dietz.
And Berwick, Paul, is in that prevent defense. They got 3 guys out there, Wharton and Kelchner, and also Eric Bauer playing nice and deep. They'll give him that 10 or 15-yard pass, but they're not going to burn him for a touchdown. Wharton had the angle on him that time. Even if he catches the ball, Wharton's got him out of bounds.
A couple of thousand Berwick fans below us, standing now, waving their banners, hollering, yelling. They want the victory suite with a nice trip home. 60 seconds remaining in the ball game. The big 3rd down. Ginder wants to throw over the center. It is complete to the 27-yard line.
Short.
Bill Eisenhower, the tight end, on the reception.
You know, Berwick will give them that all day, especially when there's only 46 seconds left and the clock's running and they're some 70-some yards away from a touchdown.
There you see the clock on the move and going down. 4th and 6 now. 34 seconds remaining. Ginder with Johns and Neville. The setbacks are split. Ginder again steps back and rushes on. Woodishick nails him from behind at the 15-yard line.
And like I say, Paul, isn't it appropriate that the defense nails the final nail into the coffin of Manheim Central? And Kevin Woodishick, watch this baby. Say good night. Good night.
Well, Tim, it was a game of 2 different halves. All Manheim Central in the first half, all Berwick in the second half.
Well, I'm going to tell you something, though. You got to give a lot of credit to the Berwick Bulldog offense. When they had to make the big play, they did it today. If it weren't Mr. Kowalski, Joe Kowalski, Killer Kowalski, as you called him before, it was Matt Mossage. And the offensive line doing the job, opening the holes when they had to. And a lot of credit also to Joey Kelchner, who made some high percentage passes to get them into field position to be able to score those touchdowns.
Kowalski last week in the second half with 106 yards rushing. He has 58 in this game in the second half.
By the way, Joe's zone is down on the field, and as soon as this one has been completed, we'll try to go to Joe and have him talk to Coach Curry and the folks that made the big plays today.
Again, a special thanks to Clark Lift Service Incorporated with offices in Pittston, Bethlehem, and Reading, plus 32 road service vans, sale and rental, new and used, Clark Industrial forklifts, Bobcat skid loaders, and Mark Lift scissor lift, one which we've used today to bring you some of the pictures from our 7 cameras located throughout Goodman Stadium here on the campus of Lehigh University.
And once again, hats off, or whatever you want to say, to our technical crew, the guys on the cameras and in the trucks and out there pulling cables. What a great job today. I've enjoyed watching this game along with describing it.
And I'm sure it's been a thrill just to come into a facility like this here.
Man, this has just been heaven today. Just a beautiful spot to watch a ball game and watch Berwick come back in an exciting game.
All right, it's 1st and 10. Let's see if Kelsner just falls on the ball. Indeed, he will. That very well could run the clock down, and the game is over. And Berwick will be going to Hershey next week with their 29th straight and will take on the winner of the Greensburg-Salem-Pittsburgh-Perry game.
This one's over. The final, Berwick 14, Manheim Central 10. And hopefully we'll be going down with Joe Zone to talk with head coach George Curry of the Berwick Bulldogs, who once again did the job coaching and was able to have his team execute properly and come out and win this ball game. And I want to tell you something, Berwick really put on a clinic on playing come-from-behind football today, Paul.
Yep.
All right, let's go down on the field with Joe Zone and head coach George Curry of the Bulldogs. Joe?
Just say when. Okay, Coach Curry, congratulating the Manheim Central. George, tell me the difference in the second half. The entire game turns around at halftime. What did you do differently this time?
Right here, Joe. We were half asleep. I don't know. We slept on the bus. We got them off the bus. They were yawning. You know, before the game. I mean, they're just in a daze. So we challenged their character a little bit in that halftime, 20-minute halftime. And I'll tell you what. You saw what we're capable of doing. There's 2 different teams. That was the real Berwick football team. We got to get emotion. I challenged the seniors. I said, you've never been down by 10. Patience. Score 1. Make it 10-7. Then score another one. And that's exactly what they did. Defense made the plays. We made a couple adjustments. They threw a new defense at us. We weren't ready for it. We practiced for a split 6 all week. They come out in a revert. We put that on the board. We straighten that out. We said we got to run the ball. We straighten the blocking schemes out. Oh, the good Lord was with us today.
Were your kids overconfident going into this game?
Probably. Yeah, I think that, you know, our kids think sometimes if you're bigger than anybody that, you know, that they're not going to play. But that team's well coached. That's a good team. It's a great program. I told them. Didn't I tell you they're quick? But to me, quickness is madness. And I told our kids at halftime, if you're mad, you'll move quicker. I've never seen a mad person move slow. And that was our approach. You know, we just had to challenge them, get in their head a little bit, straighten a few blocking schemes out, and be patient, as championship teams are. We beat this is the 7th undefeated team we beat this year. And the way we did it, we've come from behind a couple times.
All right, congratulations, Coach Curry. Next week, going for his 2nd straight state championship, and that is the story down here. Berwick comes from behind to win in the second half.
Well, Paul, there's a man that doesn't mince any words.
Nope, tells it like it is. All right, the game is over. We'll be back at Goodman Stadium after this.
We make the best Stoker stoves today. A 4-day burn leaves you with more leisure time. You never shake a grate. There's no dust to clean up. It's totally automatic. There's no overheating or chimney fires. Does your old stove do this for you? It's time you got an Alaska Stoker stove. See one burning today. Call 1-800-HOT-BTUs for your nearest Alaska stove dealer. That's 1-800-HOT-BTUs.
We started out as a little old bank, but as your needs got bigger, so did we. And we're still growing. And we want you to know that today, we can serve every single financial need that you and your family have. But we also want you to know this. We'll never get so big that you can't get close to us.
The First National Bank of Berwick, a community bank where customer service is the top priority for all your financial services.
Dunmore South Williamsport Championship Update is brought to you by National Paint and Supply Company, your wholesale and retail distributor for Bruning paint.
On an update from Myers Stadium here in Wilkes-Barre, it's 26-6 now, with Dunmore taking a commanding lead with 5 minutes and 34 seconds left in the fourth period. Tom Golden leaping out from 6 yards away, putting another 6 on the board. The extra point was good. We're at 26-6 Dunmore with just about 4 minutes left in the ball game. We'll have more on the update. I'm Jake Christopher, Newswatch 16 Sports at Myers High School.
Well, there you see Dunmore victorious. They will be in Middletown for a 10 o'clock game next Saturday against Clairton or Keystone from the West. Well, let's show you now how Berwick goes to that state championship, how they come from behind on a 10-0 deficit. Watch Kowalski, Tim.
And Joey Kowalski, last week's hero against Dunmore, does it here with a 6-yard run. And Kelchner's point after, and by the way, what a great effort here by Joe Kowalski. He just bounces off people and goes the 6 yards, and he scores. That made it 10-6, Berwick still trailing. And then the big play that put Berwick in the lead for good. Matt Mosich, talk about an individual effort here. He just does it all himself, breaks a couple of tackles, and goes 34 yards for the touchdown with Kelchner's point after. That made it 14-10 Berwick with about 8:48 to go in the game. And that was the story on that one. I'm sorry, with about, I guess it was about 8:48 to go in the game, was it not?
Right. Actually, both scores coming in the fourth quarter, but the big portion of that first drive for the first touchdown came the tail end of the third quarter. Thanks to Dan Ratchford, our statistician in the booth, providing us with all the numbers. And Tim, a key note in the second half for Darrell Neville. Rushed for 99 yards in the first half, the big gun to get the 10 points. Second half, no yardage.
And that was a key to the football game, no doubt about it. So the Berwick defense really doing the job on that option when it really counted, stringing it out when they had to, making Manheim Central come out of the game plan, and as you said, making Mr. Neville a non-factor by the time the fourth quarter rolled around. So Berwick moves on again. They've won 29 games in a row, dating back to the Eastern Conference semifinal against Tunkhannock back in 1987, which they lost 7-6 on a game, a day I'll never forget, Paul, when it was about 45 degrees below zero wind chill factor. That was the last time they lost. Since then, they've gone undefeated in 29 games. And there we are, up in the catbird seat, as you like to say. And boy, what a pleasure working here today.
You can see the comforts with no jacket on, and we're having fun. In the passing game, Tim, Kelchner 4 out of 11, Ginder 7 out of 10. He was perfect starting off that ball game with 2 great passes to his receivers.
And he is a good quarterback. And remember, you know, he's only a junior, so he's gotten some valuable experience this year in the championship game arena. And he will have a chance to do it once again. They're the football team that has really done the job over the last couple of years in that Lancaster-Lebanon League, so I'm sure the folks down there in the opposition aren't glad to see Mr. Ginder be coming back again next year.
There you see the fans filing out of the stadium on this huge campus, Goodman Stadium at Lehigh. All right, we're going to have a final wrap-up at Myers Stadium on the big Dunmore game. Let's go to Jay Christopher.
This Dunmore South Williamsport Championship Update is brought to you by Fidelity Bank of Dunmore. As always, your personal bank and probably your best bank choice.
An update from Myers Stadium. The final score, 27-12. It's Dunmore beating South Williamsport. South Williamsport got on the board finally in the fourth period as Zalonis ran it in from 12 yards out, but that's where the drive ended. The final score again here at Myers is 27-12. Dunmore beating South Williamsport. At Myers Stadium, I'm Jay Christopher, Newswatch 16 Sports.
The season is over for South Williamsport, but a great effort for those kids, and Dunmore moves on to the state championship. Paul, once again, my pleasure working with you, and I know Joe feels the same way wherever he is down in that sea of people. And, wow, Berwick moves on.
On to Hershey, where they defeated Aliquippa last year. So, I'm Paul Olis, along with Tim Carlson, Joe Zone, and Melissa Sander from Goodman Stadium on the campus of Lehigh University. The final score, Berwick 14, Manheim Central 10. So long, everybody.